Chapter 1. You are a demon. Mizuki's words still rang in his mind, just as did all the other memories of that night. He had been tricked by Mizuki, who had told him that if he took the scroll of sealing without being caught he would pass the test and become a genin. But he had quickly realized his mistake when his favorite teacher Irika had come after him. Irika had found him in the woods alone training. After scolding him for a while, Irika had quickly learned of Naruto's side of the story and knew that Mizuki was a traitor. He had done his best to run away and was nearly caught when he hid behind the tree, only to eavesdrop on Mizuki and Irika's conversation. He listened on as Mizuki berated Irika for helping a demon that had killed his parents. He had hoped that Irika had shot back at Mizuki to tell him that he wasn't a demon. He had hoped that at least his favorite teacher would defend him. But at last, he found out that not even Irika would defend him. His heart shattered at that moment to the point that he hadn't even heard the Umbu come to arrest Mizuki and escort him to the Hokage office. The old man was always kind to him when he had the chance, but he didn't always have time. He was busy most of the day with matters of the village. He felt the weight of the room and the soft look at him. "Is that all you remember, Naruto?" Hiruzen asked in his formal Hokage voice. "Yeah, pretty much," Naruto replied in a tired, defeated tone. "I see," Hiruzen finished. "Damn you, Mizuki. He really devastated him," the Hokage thought as he eyed the poor boy. He sighed. "I think it's time," Hiruzen said, lighting his pipe with a quick application of fire style. "Time for what?" Naruto questioned the old man's words. "You've always asked me about your parents. Isn't that right? Well, I think it's time I tell you," Hiruzen stated calmly. Naruto was taken back. This was the last thing he ever expected to hear from the old man. It was true he had always wanted to know about his parents, but he had never been told anything about them. The old man had insisted that it would do him no good. Yet here he was, his heart had begun to beat faster. "Naruto, before I tell you, I must warn you that if you decide to know, there will be hundreds if not thousands of enemies that will come after you. You will not find peace, and you will have to stop your childish games. You have to start training 1,000 times as hard you do now, cause what I will tell you now will change your life," Hiruzen stated in a cold, hard voice. Naruto gulped. He had never seen the old man so serious before. He knew that he meant what he said. Yet despite the fact that he was a little more scared than he cared to admit, he also wanted to know of his parents. He wanted to know who they were, why they were not in his life. He wanted to know if they were alive or whether they had died. He wanted to know had they abandoned him or had loved him. He needed to know. "Tell me." He finally got the words out of his mouth. "Very well then," Hiruzen said. He quickly made a few hand seals that Naruto couldn't even see. He saw the room glow red for a quick second before it returned to normal. "I'll begin with your mother. She was Kunoichi of Konoha and a Jinchuriki just like you," Hiruzen began. "Jinchuriki?" Naruto questioned. A Jinchuriki is a person that had a tailed beast sealed inside of him. So you see, Mizuki didn't really lie to you, but he did twist it to his own way so that he can break your spirit, Hiruzen explained. Wait, so you're saying that there are other people that have demons inside of them as well?" Naruto once again interrupted, not understanding the information that he was being given. Hiruzen was puzzled. "You haven't learned of the tailed beasts in the academy?" he asked. "I don't believe we did, otherwise I would have known. History is a class I never missed despite the fact that Daikoku-sensei never paid attention to me," Naruto said. His mind went back to all of the history classes that he had listened to. Naruto never seemed eye to eye with his teacher Daikoku, who he considered a fat man with no knowledge of the history he was teaching. History was really a subject he excelled at. Heck, he had learned to read just so he can read about the strongest shinobi and the Hokage and all other heroes of the past. He had also learned numbers so he can make sense of the dates. So he was always heartbroken when he realized that his own sensei hated him. He was always wrongly accused of and taken out of class for no reason, and it had come to the point where he would only go into the very back of the class a prey that he wouldn't be seen. When that no longer was an option, he started to go and simply look at the titles of the day and leave the class. He would study them on his own. Hiruzen made a mental note to look at the curriculum of the academy. "Well, I'll tell you," Hiruzen said, continuing where he left off. His voice took Naruto out of his thoughts. "The tailed beast are 9 entities of pure chakra that cannot die nor be killed. They had been the enemy of people for thousands of years before a way of neutralizing them was found. That way was to seal them in people. The one that had the beast sealed inside of him was called a Jinchuriki. Hiruzen talked calmly and slow so that Naruto could understand. I understand, and you say my mother was one of them, and if Mizuki told the truth I also am one? Naruto questioned. Hiruzen was a bit surprised by Naruto catching on so quickly. He hadn't expected the blonde to be so patient to listen. Yes, you too are a Jinchuriki. You contain the power of the nine-tailed demon fox inside of you, Hiruzen confirmed. Naruto could swear he heard a grunt from somewhere but paid no mind to it. So who was my mother? Yes, as I was saying, your mother was a kunoichi and a Jinchuriki. She was named Kushina Uzumaki. She was originally from Whirlpool Country, where the rest of your clan comes from. She came to Konoha to become a Jinchuriki, Hiruzen told Naruto. He could see the smile on the boy's face. So what happened to her? He asked, wanting to know more. She died the night she gave birth to you, Hiruzen explained, saddened by the information he gave away. Oh, I see, Naruto said, his voice barely above a whisper. In a silence, a few tears fell from his eyes, but he quickly wiped them off. What about my father? Is he alive? Who is he? He asked, his voice still weak. Your father was Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage of Konoha village, Hiruzen said, while absorbing the facial expressions of the boy in front of him. Naruto's face changed from sad to shock to anger. What? How can that be? How can my own father seal the nine tails in me? In his own son? In his own flesh and blood? Naruto lashed out angrily at Hiruzen, who stood calm. If you were in his position, wouldn't you do the same? Hiruzen said, taking Naruto back. What? He whispered. I said, if you had no time to think about it, if you simply had to make a choice, if you were the Hokage, would you seal the nine tails into your own son, or would you simply grab a random child and rob him of his future to save your village? Which would you choose? My own son, Naruto said quietly. Hiruzen looked at him with soft eyes. Understanding him, he watched the anger wash away from his face before a small smile tugged at his lips. Thanks, old man. Thanks for telling me this, Naruto said, and shocked Hiruzen by bowing his head to him. You don't have to thank me, Naruto. I simply told you the truth, nothing more, Hiruzen replied with a smile on his face, happy to see Naruto smile. I was wondering, did my parents leave anything behind for me? Naruto asked, wanting to know if any message or anything had been left for him by his parents. Yeah, there are things your parents have left behind. There is the Namikaze mansion, the land of the Uzumaki, and other things which I will tell you all about tomorrow. I think it is about time you get your inheritance. For now, go and rest. A big day awaits you tomorrow, Hiruzen said. Big day? Right, only I wish I graduated. That would have made tomorrow even better, Naruto said in a bittersweet voice. Well, now that you mentioned, I must tell you, Naruto, congratulations on becoming a genin, Hiruzen said with a smile, taking a handband on his hand. What? Naruto was left confused once again. I saw your bravery, and I saw your part in demasking Mizuki as a traitor to the village. For that reason I give you the title of genin. Naruto took the headband, a proud smile on his face. The Hokage noticed it wasn't one of Naruto's grins, but it was a proud smile. He understood that Naruto was still a bit hurt by his sensei betrayal. Quickly and silently, Naruto made his way to his apartment. He took a quick shower, changed into his pajamas, and went to bed, thinking about all he had learned today. In a single day, he went from enthusiastic about the final exam to disappointed at having failed, to hopeful that he might pass, only to be heartbroken again by Mizuki's betrayal, and then to learn that he was the son of the fourth Hokage. His day reflected his life, full of turbulence, but he managed to get through it somehow. He thought about his life until this point. It still angered him to think of the way he had been treated so far. It was made all the more painful when he considered that he was basically royalty of the village, son of their arguably best Hokage and heir to their biggest allied clan. Thinking of the Uzumaki clan, he began wondering if there were other survivors. As a student of history, Naruto knew that the Uzumaki clan doesn't exist anymore. He had read about the Third Great Ninja War and had known about his clan's downfall. He had wanted to know more since the book only mentioned it very briefly, but he was disappointed to learn that there was very little recorded of the Uzumaki history in the village. His thoughts carried him to sleep, following him even in his dreams. He woke tomorrow at first light. He got up dressed, did his usual morning routine, ate a quick breakfast, and broke off into a run toward the academy. He didn't stop to look at anyone. Silently, he opened the door to his class. He took a quick glance around the room. He spotted Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, Chochi Akimichi, and a few others whose names he didn't bother remembering. Without a word, he made his way towards the end of the class. He didn't want to be seen by anyone. He took a seat at the end and sat down, looking outside the window. All the way across the room, a pair of lavender eyes looked at him, softly analyzing him. Naruto seemed unaware, however. He watched the class fill up with all kinds of students. Lastly, Irika made his way into the class. He took a look around the class and saw everyone that was supposed to be there. He also saw Naruto sitting alone at the end of the class. The Hokage had told him that he had personally passed Naruto and that he would be assigned to a team. Irika had not complained. He also wanted to personally congratulate the boy after the class. He cleared his head and coughed. "Well, everyone, welcome to your last day of the academy. For all of you that passed, this day will only be a day to say your farewells to the academy and learn to which team you have been assigned," Irika said, staring. I have liked to tell each and every one of you how proud of you I am, but that would take us a long time. I know that all of you have the potential to go on to do incredible things. I believe in you, and so should you. You are the future of this village. Never forget that," Irika continued, seeing the attention. Half of them are only good as decoys for war. They are no shinobi. Most of these lot are cowards that would run at the first sight of blood, Naruto thought to himself, but didn't say it out loud. "Without going any further, I will tell now all of you the teams you have been assigned to," Irika said, sensing excitement. Naruto listened carefully to the names, wanting to hear his own name, though he had to wait for quite a while. Team 7 consists of Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha, Irika read out. And it was in that moment that Naruto heard what felt like a mob of angry peasants shouting and complaining about not being in the same team as Sasuke Uchiha, while Sakura Haruno shouted praises towards the Hokage, saying that even he knew of her undying love for Sasuke. Sasuke, on the other hand, he ignored her. Irika quieted the class down and continued reading out the rest of the names. "And that is everyone. Please be here. Your senseis will come and pick you up. Again, I wish all of you the very best," Irika said after he was done reading out the names. He took his papers and prepared to leave the class. Before he did, however, he turned to Naruto. "Naruto, can we talk for a moment?" Naruto narrowed his eyes but got up and followed behind Irika outside the class. "What is it, Teacher Irika?" he asked in a formal tone devoid of his usual warmth. Irika was taken aback a little, but continued nonetheless. "I wanted to congratulate you on passing and becoming a genin." "Thank you." Yeah, no problem. If you want, we could head over to Ichiraka Ramen to celebrate." "I have to meet my new sensei, so I have to turn you down," Naruto replied calmly, refusing Irika's offer. "Yeah, of course. Maybe some other day," Irika said, rubbing the back of his head, not being able to handle the awkward situation. "Have a good day, Irika," Naruto said, ending the conversation then and there before going back inside the class, leaving Irika alone in the hall. He had a sad expression on his face as he watched Naruto enter the class. The students waited patiently for their senseis to arrive and pick them up. Team 7 watched the entire class leave alongside their senseis, only for them to be left behind and wait for theirs. Kiba had actually mocked them on his way out, saying they had gotten a loser sensei, though none of them had actually said anything. It certainly seemed to turn out that way. They waited and waited and waited, and still no one came. Sakura had become restless. She was trying to do anything just to not stay still. Sasuke never talked much, she knew that, but she had hoped that at least Naruto would say something. It wasn't on his nature to sit still for hours, yet he did. What the hell is going on? Why is Naruto so calm all of a sudden? That idiot can never stay silent for this long, she thought to herself. Then out of nowhere the door to their classroom opened, revealing a tall man dressed in shinobi attire, his left eye covered by his headband and his lower face concealed by a mask. "Team 7, you're with me. Come at the rooftop," he said, looking at the three of them before he disappeared in a poof of smoke. Without a word, the three genin followed after him. Kakashi watched them all sit one by one, analyzing each one of them carefully. Alright, so for each of you, I want a presentation things like what you like, what you do, things like that. Okay, so let's start, he said with a one-eyed smile. Can you go first, sensei, to show us how to do it? Sakura asked. Kakashi frowned a little and said, I am Kakashi Hitaki. For my likes, I don't really want to tell you. As for my hobby, well, I don't want to tell you that either. And my dream, I don't think I'll tell you that either. Kakashi looked at the sweat that formed on his student's face. All we learned was his name, was their collective thoughts. Now, why don't you go first, blonde? Kakashi said, looking at Naruto. Alright, I'll go first, Naruto said calmly. Kakashi was taken aback a bit. From the reports he read in the academy, Naruto was angered by even the slightest of insults and would have definitely retorted. Guess that report was wrong, he thought. Naruto thought for a second, then continued, My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I am a genin of Konoha and I like ramen. I don't really have a hobby and my dream is to restore my clan, Naruto said. He saw Sasuke turn around and look at him strangely, while Sakura had a questioning look on her face. Kakashi too was taken aback. The Hokage mentioned that he told him about his lineage, but what is this dream to restore his clan? He wondered. What do you mean restore your clan? You don't come from a clan, Sakura said. Naruto looked at her with a blank expression that sent chills down her spine. The fact that you don't know about the Uzumaki clan tells me that I am right to not waste my breath on dignifying you with an answer, he said, making Sakura look away in fright. The Uzumaki clan, Sasuke made a mental note to check out what Naruto meant. All right, next you girl, Kakashi said, trying to get Sakura's attention. Yeah, my name is Sakura Haruno, my like is… She looked at Sasuke and giggled at herself. My hobby is… She looked at Sasuke again and giggled. My dream is… She looked at Sasuke and giggled, making all the boys roll their eyes in annoyance. So everything about her is related to Sasuke. Great, a fangirl, Kakashi sighed for what felt like the 100th time that day. And lastly you, he said, pointing at Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I hate a lot of things and I don't particularly like anything. What I have is not a dream because I will make it a reality. I'm going to restore my clan and destroy a certain somebody. I knew it, Kakashi thought to himself. Both Naruto and Sakura were looking at Sasuke as well. Sakura had a stupid love emotion written all over her face while looking at him, while Naruto was unreadable. Anyway, I guess I should now tell you about the test tomorrow, Kakashi said, diffusing the situation. What test? Sakura was taken out of her daydreaming. Oh, so you don't know? Well, you see, tomorrow you will take the test to see whether you become genin or not, Kakashi explained. But we took our test. Oh, that test was simply to root out the weak that didn't even deserve to be here. And also a quick fact, only 33% of genins pass this test and are assigned to a team, Kakashi said, an unseeable smirk evident on his face. Well, be sure to be here tomorrow at 6 sharp. Also, if you want some advice, don't eat anything you'll just throw up. Kakashi gave them one last smile before he vanished in a puff of smoke, leaving the 3 genin alone. Without a single word, both Naruto and Sasuke got up and left, ignoring any word that Sakura said. Naruto made his way toward his favorite place as a child. He pushed the white curtains away and sat down on one of the chairs and waited for the old man to come and take his order. He didn't have to wait long. Welcome to Ichiraka Ramen. How may I help you? Tucci came out of the kitchen and greeted his customer. Oh, Naruto, it's you. How have you been? It's been a long time. Why haven't you come to visit? Tucci said, welcoming his most regular customer. I've been good. Just had quite a lot to deal with recently, Naruto said with a small, barely noticeable smile on his face. Well, I hope you get through. You want the usual. Yes, and with that, Tucci happily made his way into the back of the shop to prepare the order. Kakashi seems to be a deceptive person. Why would he tell us to not eat lunch? Tomorrow, don't shinobi have to eat enough so they can be ready at all times? Naruto thought to himself. Unless he is hiding something, it most likely has to do something with that test of his. But what could it be? He held a hand to his head. Ever since last day, he had found himself thinking a lot more. For some reason, he had began thinking almost everything that was told to him. He was beginning to distrust people, no matter how much he tried to forget the thought that if they can lie to him about his family meant they could always lie to him. He also blamed himself for never seeing the obvious clues in front of him. He had seen photos of the fourth Hokage practically all his life, yet despite the fact that he looked like his miniature version, it never occurred to him that he could be his son. Before long his order was delivered to him and he was taken out of his thoughts by Tucci. But he didn't have long to talk to Tucci either, as a person dressed all in black wearing an eagle bird mask made his way into the shop and told him that the Hokage awaited his presence. Naruto finished his meal quickly, paid for it, and left toward the Hokage tower. He entered the Hokage office and found Hiruzen in his chair smoking a cigar with his pipe. "Ah, Naruto, you finally came. For a minute I thought you had forgotten," Hiruzen greeted him. "Nah, I wouldn't forget about my parents," Naruto replied. "Well, let's go then." "Let's go where?" he asked. "The Namikaze mansion, of course," Hiruzen replied. After a good 10 minutes of walking towards the west of the village, both Naruto and the Hokage stopped in front of a massive mansion. Naruto looked around in awe. The mansion was surrounded by nearly 2 meters of high white wall. The Hokage pushed open the gates and revealed to Naruto the incredibly big yard. Naruto looked around. He saw just how big the area was. There were flowers, trees, even a small pool of water surrounded by rocks. He thought he could fill it with 1,000 people, and there would still be room for thousands more. "Shall we go inside, or are you satisfied already?" the Hokage asked jokingly. Naruto didn't laugh, however. He turned to the Hokage. "Who has been looking after this place?" he asked. "My Umbu have taken care of the outside of the mansion. Unfortunately, don't expect the same thing in the inside because they couldn't enter in the inside due to the seals," Hiruzen explained. "I see. Then how are we going to be entering?" Naruto asked. Hiruzen grinned. "You are Minato's son. The seals will open for you." They made their way to the 2 giant doors of the mansion. Naruto saw a circle-like object in middle of the door with strange markings on a ripple-like manner. "A blood seal?" Naruto asked out loud. "You know?" Hiruzen asked, interested. "Yeah." "Since when?" "Don't know. I just know that this is a blood seal," Naruto said truthfully. "I guess it really is in his blood, huh? The Uzumaki were masters of seals after all," Hiruzen thought to himself. "Well then, will you open it?" "All right," Naruto said before he bit down on his finger until blood ran down his fingers. He placed his bleeding thumb in the door and followed the symbols down the ripple-like object. They both waited for a few minutes, and then suddenly the doors began to open. They stepped foot inside and all lights turned on. They were both surprised to see the inside wasn't actually ruined. In fact, it was in very good condition. "How many years since this place hasn't been opened?" Naruto questioned disbelievingly. "It has been over 12 years since it was last opened. I don't think I have ever seen a mansion survive like this for over 12 years. I guess it most likely has something to do with your father's seals," Hiruzen stated his theory. "Maybe," Naruto said, eyeing the mansion. "Can you show me around?" "Seems I'm not familiar with this place," Naruto stated the obvious. "Well, fine, but don't expect me to know all the places in here. I'd have a very basic knowledge of this place since didn't visit all that much. Plus, there are secrets here that the Namikaze clan has hid for generations from outsiders," Hiruzen replied. "Generations?" Naruto asked. The surface of the mansion was built using the wood style of the first Hokage Hashirama Senju, while the inside was designed by the Namikaze themselves, Hiruzen explained. "I see. Well, come along." Naruto and the old Hokage walked down the corridors of the mansion. Naruto looked around, seeing the pictures of wars, battles, people and creatures he had never seen or heard of. They came across sleeping rooms, toilets, training rooms, libraries, dining areas, a large kitchen, a meditation room, and all other necessities for a large clan to have. However, they were walking inside a shinobi mansion, and they were reminded of that from time to time when they set off some kind of trap without their knowledge, but overall they escaped with all of their body parts. They arrived in front of a narrow corridor. The area was so narrow they had to walk sideways and open the door. This had been a part that even Hiruzen had never seen, so they entered with caution. At the end of the corridor was a door that they opened. After checking for traps, they entered with caution. The room had no lights, so Hiruzen took a piece of wood from the ground and set it on fire, making a torch. They looked carefully and saw that the room was filled with spider webs, books and scrolls and maps scattered everywhere on the room. Swords, bows, lances decorated the walls. They were amazed not even the Konoha library had this many books. I guess I have to pay a bit more attention to this room and clean it, Naruto said as he picked a book on his hand, read the title, and put it back where he took it. It seems that you will have to, Hiruzen agreed with him. Let's go back. They walked back outside and decided to visit other parts of the mansion. They walked down some even more narrow corridor, yet oddly enough this time they were led to some massive double doors. The moment they tried to set foot near the gate, they were attacked by hundreds of kunais and shurikens from all directions. Hiruzen didn't let his age get to him. Acting on his fast reflexes, he made quick hand signs and released a gust of wind, propelling the shurikens and kunais backwards. They did get some bruises and cuts, but again escaped unharmed. Naruto went to open the door but was shocked when his hand went right through the door and burned red hot. The Hokage quickly pulled him backwards. He looked at the door for a few seconds before he made a quick hand seal. "It's a genjutsu," he said. Before long, Naruto understood what the Hokage meant. As the door faded into the back and the corridor extended along further, he saw the door at the end again. "What now?" Naruto asked. "Wait, let's not get hasty. The genjutsu was simply a mask, but your hand was burned when you placed it through. There must be another trap around here," Hiruzen said, analyzing the situation. "Yeah, you're right. But what kind of trap is this one?" Hiruzen knelt to take a small rock he found on the ground. He tossed it towards the door at high speed. Naruto watched the rock carefully, yet he was shocked when the rock nearly made contact with the door. It was cut into 1,000 pieces. "I thought so. It's a laser trap," Hiruzen said. "A laser trap?" Naruto asked. "Yeah, it's a type of trap created by very thin wire strings that when combined with fuinjutsu burn red hot and cut like blades." Hiruzen explained the trap. Naruto shivered knowing he was so close to death himself, but pushed himself to talk. "So what do we do now? How do we pass this test? This is quite a pickle we're in. Though I might have a technique that might help us," Hiruzen replied, a small grin tugging at his lips. He made the necessary hand seals. Infinite darkness jutsu. Naruto felt everything around them go black all of the sudden. He felt as if he was at the bottom of an endless black hole. But he watched with curious eyes as burning red thin lines appeared all over the corridor. "How do we pass now?" In a few quick notions that left Naruto in awe, Hiruzen made the jump from one place to another, going sometimes above, sometimes below, and sometimes even in between the wires. Naruto watched him reach the end without a problem. He himself decided to walk in between them slowly and carefully. The Hokage awaited him and then opened the massive gates, his jutsu fading behind him. Naruto made his way inside and took in the view. This room was even larger than the library, which made him question just how big the mansion really is. It seemed as though it was bigger in the inside than the outside, which didn't make sense since they were still on the first floor, at least to his knowledge. The room had stone-thick walls that reached far above his height. He looked around. This room had a small shelf of books, a massive table with at least 20 chairs around it. He went over to the table. He saw a massive map of the world was sitting on it. The map showed the borders of each nations. He examined it closely. He saw the land of wind to the southwest. He saw at northwest the land of earth, the land of iron to the north, the land of lighting to the northeast. He saw the land of waves, land of whirlpools, and the land of water to the east, and the land of tea to the south. He saw objects that laid above the map. He could make out shinobis, samurais, ships. These objects were scattered all around the map. He saw the capitals of each nations. They were circled in red lines. Naruto saw in the other side of the table a letter. He went to grab it, his footsteps echoing in the room. He took the letter on his own hands and read the names aloud.
A. Killebe, Han, Rushi, Unoki, Raza, Yagura, Zabuza Mumuchi, Uruchimaru, Raiku Kazahara, Daisuke Mujanju.
He read out. He turned to Hiruzen. "Who are these guys?" "They are shinobi from different villages. If I had to guess, they are people that were considered as threats by your clan," Hiruzen explained. "I see, my father wasn't a fool. Better to have an understanding of your enemy's abilities than get caught off guard. Yes, your father was an organized man, ready for any situation." Naruto placed the letter back on the table without saying a word. He walked around the room a little more before he stopped in front of a massive picture that hung in the wall. He examined it with a blank expression on his face. The picture had 8 men on it. One stood out to Naruto, the one that was in the middle, while the other 7 flanked him from both sides. The man in the middle had a commanding aura to him. He was a tall man with long yellow hair that fell behind his back loosely. His blue eyes and yellow beard made his face terrifying to look at. Naruto saw that he wore a black armor like none he had ever seen. His armor had been made to allow defense while not taking away his flexibility. He was a fighter that relied on speed, while a katana also hung around his waist. On his breast was the symbol of the Namikaze clan. Naruto looked up at him in awe and a little fright, and the men surrounding him were not much better either. All of them had the look of warriors who had fought countless battles. "Who are they?" Naruto asked, never taking his eyes off the picture. "That man in the middle is Erasure Namikaze, Minato Namikaze's father and your grandfather. He was the previous head of the Namikaze clan until he fell in battle during the Second Great Ninja War," Hiruzen explained. "He looks strong." He was strong. I would know he was my personal bodyguard once," Hiruzen said, gaining Naruto's attention. "How was that possible?" "It was possible. Me and Erasure were part of the same team, the personal students of Tobirama Senju. He became my bodyguard as a wish of Tobirama Sensei. We were in the Land of Lightning about to hold discussion with Kumogakure about a potential alliance between our villages, but we were ambushed and Lord Second decided to sacrifice his own life, so that we, the next generation of shinobi, may go on to live and carry the will of fire. It was there where he named me Hokage of the village and Erasure my sworn protector. He served me dutifully until his very last moments when he fell in battle alongside his Order of the Seven." "Order of the Seven?" Naruto was left puzzled at the name. "The Order of the Seven was an elite royal guard of the Namikaze clan head. Your ancestors weren't arrogant to believe in the notion of invincibility. They created a royal guard to protect the clan head," Hiruzen explained, not seeming tired of holding history lessons to Naruto. "What would happen if the clan head were to die?" Naruto asked, wanting to know more. "Should the clan head die in battle while his Order of the Seven remains alive, they would be banished and branded traitors to the clan since they are meant to be the clan head's shadow. But if the clan head were to meet a natural death, then the Order of the Seven could be retired and could be reinstated in the service of the new clan head." "I see. Tell me one more thing. At its height of power, how many members did my clan number?" "Your clan is one of the special cases. It is not a clan, say like the Uchiha or the Hyuga with many members and families. Your clan only compromised your family as true-blooded Namikaze. All people that served you clan were outsiders." Naruto didn't say anything else. He made his way towards the map again. "Tell me, apart from the island of Whirlpool Country, do the Uzumaki clan hold any land on the main continent?" Naruto asked, eyeing the map carefully. Hiruzen made his way to map as well. "Unfortunately, no. Whatever land the Uzumakis held was taken by the Land of Hot Water. So the only lands that still would remain to the Uzumaki is the island of Whirlpool." "Why didn't the Land of Hot Water take over the island as well?" "There is no use from a ruined island." Naruto seemed to think for a little while, his eyes never leaving the map. "And is the island inhabitable? Fertile? Can they maintain their food in case of siege? Do they use any kind of special minerals? Do they have a sustainable economy?" Hiruzen was taken aback by all of Naruto's sudden questions. "Well, to be fair, I cannot say much since I too have basic knowledge of the island, since I have never been there to see it in person. But I do know someone that has been there and can help you. But unfortunately, he is outside the village right now." "Who is he?" "His name is Jiraiya. He is one of the Sannin, and he is my student," Hiruzen answered. "Jiraiya the Sannin. I do believe I have heard that name before." He thought for a moment. "Never mind. You say he is outside the village? When will he return? Do you have that information at least?" "No, I do not. A Sannin can move anywhere in the 5 great nations without the authority of the Hokage," Hiruzen explained. Naruto said nothing for a while. When something came to his mind, "You are the Hokage, you control the Umbu Black Ops of the village, isn't that right? Well, do you have a loyal Umbu member that you can trust with anything?" Naruto asked. "I do have one. Why?" "Good, then I want to have him train me. He will become my personal bodyguard," Naruto said. "Naruto, as much as I wish, I cannot accept your request. I can't give you my men to train you. Hiruzen was saying but was interrupted. No, actually you can. It is stated that Hashirama Senju, the founder of the village, united all the clans in the Land of Fire to the village with the promise that if the clans fought alongside the village would also fight alongside the clans, a partnership that goes both ways, and I am a clan head, so I demand an personal bodyguard for myself provided by the Umbu Black Ops, Naruto said without missing a beat. Hiruzen was stunned. He never imagined that Naruto would pull something like this. He sighed. Very well. I shall give you a man I trust as a personal bodyguard of yours. I thank you, Naruto said as he began to walk off. Oh, one more thing, the Nameks no longer live in the mansion. But are there other people that lived in this mansion, people like cooks, servants, or things like that? He asked with authority. Well, cooks and servants have either gone in service of other clan heads or have fled the Land of Fire. Many might have even died, I am not sure. But there is one that I know served your own father. He is a blacksmith. He is the one that made your father's legendary kunais, Hiruzen explained. Good, I wish to meet him. Can you bring him to the guest's room tomorrow? I would like an audience with him. I have a few things I want to ask of him, Naruto said as he walked out, leaving Hiruzen alone in the room. He watched him walk out with an unreadable look on his face. After a good while, Hiruzen left the mansion while Naruto stayed. He had made shadow clones and cleaned the house. At least 100 of his shadow clones were killed by hidden traps in the mansion. After the first one was dead, he had decided to sit back and let the clones do all the work. It was also then that he found out that the shadow clones transfer back their memory, which gave him the idea that he could use them for training. He had paid closer attention to the library of the Namekes, where he had discovered an exact copy of the scroll of sealing that the Hokage had hid away. It made him laugh a little to think that he would own a copy of the thing that had nearly got him killed trying to steal. He had also discovered some flags of the Namekes clan sigil, which was a circular emblem with a central whirlwind, surrounded by 3 lightning bolts. One of the lightning bolts featured a subtle touch of yellow. He had also seen some whirlpool banners of the Uzumaki clan, but he left the flags untouched and moved into different parts of the library. He, or rather his clones, found a lot of books he had taken an interest into. He had found a book about the history of Namekes that was written by the Namekes themselves. He found training routines of former clan heads. He had even found a journal of his father, though it was unfinished, only a couple pages long. But to his astonishment, his father had left behind a complete list of all his jutsus, though there were no real instructions on how to learn them, and even if there were, they were too complicated to understand. Naruto decided that his father's techniques were far too advanced for him right now and that he would take his time mastering the basics and then move on to more advanced stuff. He moved the books back into the shelf and reorganized them in the manner that would suit him. He had also found other rooms in the house, but that no longer surprised him. The mansion was huge and he would expect that many rooms. After a good long while, he decided that the house was clean enough and dispersed his clones. He made his way to the master bedroom. He wanted to go and lay down on the bed when he suddenly crossed a mirror and stopped. He hadn't even seen the mirror when he had entered the room yet. He still saw his reflection while moving. It made him realize just how much he actually stood out. In the ninja world, his orange jumpsuit was a death sentence. He opened the wardrobe and looked through clothes that were there. He finally found something that he liked. He decided to keep it simple. He wore black pants with a pouch tied around his leg, and a black sweater covered by a dark green jacket. He thought his new look was good enough. He really much liked his orange jumpsuit, but he would have to stop wearing it. Without much words, he once again removed his clothes and jumped into bed. Chapter 2. It was the beginning of a new day and Naruto had gotten ready. He woke up quite early, ate a light breakfast, and put on his new clothes. He made sure that all his tools were ready and equipped. Right before he left, he made a few shadow clones and left them back into the house. His way to the designated location went without any trouble. He only wished he gained a bit more information on Kakashi. His sensei was still a mystery to him, and he couldn't get a read on him due to his hidden nature. He gazed up and saw his 2 teammates arriving. Sasuke walked ready and confident, already ready for battle, while Sakura, unlike her teammates, seemed to have only just woken from her sleep. They all stopped and waited for their sensei to arrive. Sakura instantly saw Naruto's new look, and she wanted to comment to him but decided against it, cause it might give the wrong impression to Sasuke. After a bit of waiting, Naruto decided to go in the shade of a tree. Sakura screamed at him, asking him what the hell he was doing. Sensei seems like a guy who is always late. We saw what happened yesterday, and I am not about to stand in the middle of nowhere for a couple of hours. Besides, I am already here, he can't say anything to me," Naruto said, making Sakura embarrassed at herself for blaming him. They waited and waited and waited, and yet nothing. Sakura decided she couldn't take it and joined Naruto under a tree, but one that was away from him. Sasuke was too arrogant to join them. He stayed in the heat waiting for their sensei. Eventually, Kakashi showed up. "Morning, everyone. Ready for your first day?" He greeted them with a smile. "You're late," Sakura screamed at him. "Well, a black cat crossed my way, so I had to take the long way." Kakashi expertly dodged his student. His not-caring nature only made Sakura growl. Kakashi noticed Naruto's new look. "Oh, Naruto, nice outfit," he commented with an eye smile. "Thanks," Naruto replied with a very small smile. "Well," Kakashi gathered his voice, "let's get started," he said as he moved to place a timer on a nearby log. "It's set for noon," he told them. Seeing the confused looks, he showed them 2 bells. "Your assignment is very simple. You just have to take these bells from me, that's all there is to it." He rang them against one another. "If you fail to get them by noon, you go without lunch. You'll be tied to these posts and watch while I eat my lunch," he explained, hearing the stomach of 2 of his students growl. Naruto, why don't you seem to be hungry?" he asked. "That would be because I have eaten breakfast," Naruto replied without hesitation. "You have done what Kakashi-sensei told us not to do. How can you just ignore him like that?" Sakura screamed at him. "Yeah, that's it. He told us he didn't necessarily order us not to eat any food," Naruto replied in a calm tone that surprised everyone. "Smart. I have to do a reevaluation of this one," Kakashi thought to himself. "Well, good for you," he added. A quick fire passed in between Sasuke's eyes. How the hell did Naruto get that, but not me? I have to concentrate. "Wait a minute, there's 3 of us, so how come there are only 2 bells?" Sakura asked. "Well, that way one of you will end up tied to the post and ultimately disqualified for failing to complete the mission. That one goes back to the academy, but then again all 3 of you could flunk out too. You can use any weapons including kunai and shuriken. If you are not prepared to kill me, you won't be able to take the bells," Kakashi explained to them. "But those weapons are too dangerous, sensei," Sakura said, making everyone else roll their eyes at her. "Doesn't matter, besides I think they might help after all. You have a class clown on your team, and let me tell you, class clowns are usually the weakest links. You can safely ignore them, lowest scores losers," Kakashi answered Sakura, trying to get a reaction out of Naruto, who once again to his surprise didn't lash out angrily at him like the report card said that he would. "Well, let's not waste time. Begin," he shouted and saw all 3 of his students scatter away. "Well, they don't seem entirely like fools," he whispered to himself. He smiled a little beneath his mask. XXXXXXXX. Irika was making his way towards the Hokage office. He was about to knock on the door and enter when he began to hear shouts inside. Being the professional that he was, he decided to wait out a little, after hearing the situation calming down a little. He saw the door open and a large fat man walked out. He recognized him as the academy principal, and he seemed tired and ashamed. He knocked on the door and made his way inside. There he was greeted with the sight of the Hokage buried in paperwork. The moment Hiruzen saw him, he dropped everything he was doing and invited Irika to sit down. Irika, this is perfect, you came right on time. I needed to talk to you and was just about to send for you," the old Hokage said, confusing Irika. He had come to the office to inquire about Naruto's chances of passing Kakashi's test, but it seemed that the Hokage had other issues. They both sat down and Hiruzen's secretary brought them tea. "So what can I do for you, Lord Hokage?" Irika asked respectfully. "I'll cut to the chase, Irika. I want you to become the principal of the Ninja Academy," Hiruzen said, shocking Irika. "What, why? Did something happen to the principal?" Irika was about to ask but was interrupted when the Hokage lifted his hand, stopping him. "Irika, I need you to listen to me," Hiruzen said. Getting a nod of confirmation from Irika, he continued, "It had come to my attention that the students of the academy were not even taught of the existence of the tailed beast, so I decided to launch an investigation on the curriculum of the academy and..." The Hokage trailed off. And what? Arika asked, worried. And I can say, I am completely disappointed. The academy level has fallen massively. I would say the level of its shinobi has dropped to a level of kunoichi from weaker villages. I saw the curriculum. It contained very limited information of history and geography. The ninjutsu, genjutsu part of the class had been almost abandoned. The taijutsu was the most basic ninja art taught. More emphasis was placed in basic subject than shinobi ones. The school had begun to change from a shinobi academy to a regular school. It is no wonder that we lack proper shinobi. But the curriculum was voted by you, was it not? Arika asked, puzzled. No, it was not. You see, after the Nine Tails attack on the village, I took the position of the Hokage once again. And back then I had absolute power, so all matters big or small were sent to me. So me being a fool, I decided to believe in the will of fire of the civilian council that we have today. I formed the civilian council in order to help me stabilize the village. I would handle the shinobi side of the village, while the civilian council, the civilian side of the village, Hiruzen answered. But now after 12 years I see what my decision has done. It has created greedy monsters that seek nothing but personal wealth. After my investigation I saw that the academy curriculum was changed by the order of the council, the Hokage said, seeming tired. So you see, I need someone to help me reconstruct the academy from the ground up, and I think you are the best man for it. So please, Arika, do this for me. I will have thousands of other documents that I will have to recheck. At least take the academy issue away from me, Hiruzen pleaded with him. Arika didn't know what to say. He had come for a completely different thing, yet he was discussing something completely different. Suddenly his face gained a fierce determination. I humbly accept your offer, my lord. I will make sure that I give my everything to fulfill your trust in me, Arika said. I will make sure that the future of our village is secured. That is good to hear, Arika. Now I want you to go back to the academy and take your position. I also want you to go ahead and write a complete report on every teacher and staff working at the academy. I also want you to go and bring me documents of all changes to the school curriculum that have been made over the last 12 years and of all the people that have voted on it. Is that understood? Arika nodded, then spoke up. If you don't mind me asking, Lord Hokages, why do you need the names of the people that have voted on these changes? Hiruzen's face shifted into a serious one that Arika had never seen. I will have all of these people tried for their crimes, manipulation, abuse of power, unlawful changes to the academy, favoritism, and other crimes. I see. I will provide you with what you ask of me, Lord Hokage. XXXXXXXX. Ninja must know how to conceal their movements. Well, at least they understand that much, Kakashi said to no one in particular. He eyed the forest in front of him. All three of his students were out of his sight. He could have sensed them if he wanted but decided against it. He began to walk down in the forest, seemingly wide open, wanting to know if they would take the bait. He didn't sense any attack coming his way, so he continued his walk unbothered, until he stepped on an invisible wire and set off a trap that sent a massive log his way. Acting fast, he jumped up and dodged the log. He looked around, and which one of them could have set that up? He thought to himself. He became more cautious and checked his surroundings more carefully. Yet he saw nothing out of the ordinary. He reached for his pouch, took his book, and began to read. What are you doing? A voice behind him called out. Kakashi was taken off guard but managed to not show it. He turned around slowly and saw Naruto. I am reading the story, of course, Kakashi replied. In mid-battle, interesting, Naruto retorted. A quick question, why didn't you attack me from behind? Kakashi asked with a questioning look on his face. A good question, so why didn't I, or maybe I did? You just haven't seen it, Naruto said with a grin. Kakashi quickly spun around and was greeted with the sight of three other Narutos charging at him. They were close, but he used his superior speed and dodged all of their attacks. He eyed the Naruto behind him, the one that he had talked to. He was doing nothing, simply watching. Kakashi was beginning to find some interest in the blonde. He wasn't that powerful, but he seemed smarter than he let on. Kakashi decided to test him further. With some quick attacks, he instantly destroyed the three clones and made stable footing ready to charge at the last Naruto, but was shocked to see a small smile on his face. Bingo, he read his lips. He looked on and saw a lighting from the bottom of Naruto's feet charge at him in a completely straight line. He looked down and saw a massive circle of lighting surrounding him. He looked better and saw a fuinjutsu trap. When did he lay this trap down? Was the last thing he thought before lighting completely engulfed him. Naruto heard some screams and after the lighting died down made his way towards the trap. He didn't believe it would work. He had found the trap in the Namikaze library and read the instructions. He saw that the trap worked sort of like a mine and he decided to try it on Kakashi. He saw Kakashi's body down on the ground. He saw the burns he had inflicted, but ignored them. He went to grab the bells when Kakashi's body turned into a log. He didn't even have time to be shocked as a kick to his back sent him flying against a nearby tree, and in no time a rope was tied around him. He saw Kakashi walk in front of him. Well, I must admit, you did catch me off guard. But alas, it didn't work out. Too bad for you. Naruto seemed unbothered by his words, so Kakashi decided to let him know his thoughts. But he was taken out of his when he was forced to dodge some incoming shuriken. He looked up and saw Sasuke trying to change his position. That was Sasuke's attack. Were they working together? No, he just seized the opportunity. Damn it, I thought that he lowered his guard. But he did that on purpose and I fell for it. Plus now he knows my location, Sasuke thought to himself as he ran away to change position. Seeing that Sasuke had left her field of vision, Sakura ran after him until she saw Kakashi in front of her and stopped. Phew, he didn't see me. Sakura, behind you. A small whisper said to her. When she turned to look around, she saw Kakashi and screamed out in fear. Her scream was short-lived as she saw the world around her fade away and she was once again in the forest. She looked around confused at what was going on. Then she heard a voice she knew all too well. Sasuke was calling out to her. She turned around and saw him, but she quickly froze in fear when she laid eyes on him. He was bloodied and broken. Hundreds of shurikens and kunais were embedded in his body, and he seemed on the verge of death. She screamed and then fainted. Kakashi looked at her real body faint in the real world. She can't even recognize a basic genjutsu. The report card said she had an affinity for genjutsu. That must have been wrong as well. Guess I have to burn that card. That sounded like Sakura, Sasuke whispered to himself. Shinobi battle skill number 2 genjutsu. Sakura studied it in class, but she still couldn't see it coming. So then, Sasuke, are you any better? Kakashi said, appearing right behind him. Genjutsu, huh? I am not surprised you caught Sakura in it, but I am not like Sakura or Naruto, Sasuke reminded him. Oh, and how are you different? I am better than them. Say that after you take one of these bells. And with that both prepared for battle, Sasuke made the first move, launching some shuriken at him, which Kakashi dodged. There's no point using normal attacks, he told him, but didn't get an answer. Sasuke launched a kunai and cut a rope behind him in half. A trap, Kakashi thought to himself, and he got his answer when tens more of shuriken and kunai were thrown at him. Why do they seem so fond of traps? He didn't have much time to think when he saw Sasuke reappear right behind him. He blocked the kick and grabbed his leg, but had to block another of Sasuke's punches, though Sasuke's attack wasn't over because he threw another kick which made Kakashi block it with his arm. Then he saw Sasuke's free arm move to take the bells, but once again using his speed, Kakashi ran back and regained the distance. He is fierce. I won't be able to make out paradise now. Well, you are different from the other two, I'll give you that, but so far I must say that it is Naruto Uzumaki that has impressed me the most, Kakashi said, observing Sasuke's facial expression. He saw a bit of rage in Sasuke's eyes but said nothing. He saw Sasuke go through hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. What genin can't do fire style, it takes too much chakra, Kakashi thought incredulously. Without a word, Sasuke released a massive ball of flame towards Kakashi. After the flames died down, he saw that Kakashi wasn't there. Where did he go? As if hearing his thoughts, Kakashi's voice said to him, Where I am where you least expect me to be. His voice rang out, and a hand gripped Sasuke's leg from beneath him and sent him down until only his head remained. Damn it, how I did not see this coming, Sasuke thought angrily to himself. You have talent and you were right, you are different from the others, but different doesn't always mean better, I am afraid. They say the nail that sticks up gets hammered down, he said and started to move away, reading his book once again. After Kakashi was a good distance away, Naruto made his presence known to Sasuke. Hey there. Need a hand, he greeted. What do you want, loser? Sasuke asked him with a half-growl. I want to pass this test, he answered shortly. What do you mean? I am proposing to you a team-up. You saw yourself that you can't beat Kakashi, and neither can I, but together we might have a chance, Naruto said, explaining his offer. But this is an individual test. He didn't say that we can't team up, simply that we have to get a bell and pass. But there are 2 bells, what about Sakura? What about her? You mean to let her fail? Sasuke asked, not believing what he was hearing. Naruto was not a person that would let someone else fail because of him. If it means that I pass, I don't mind. I have things to do, Sasuke. I can't have setbacks. If Sakura must fail in order for me to pass, then so be it, Naruto said without a hesitation in his voice. Do you have a plan? Sasuke asked, wanting to know where he was going with this. Yes, I do, and I will tell you, right after I help you get out of there, Naruto said as he went to help out Sasuke. After he was freed, they both began to run towards Kakashi. Right now Kakashi is going back to the clock. Earlier I sent Sakura that way by telling her that you were that way and injured by Kakashi. With any luck she should have attacked Kakashi, and if she has, then we can use my plan. Naruto then proceeded to tell Sasuke his plan. By the time they arrived at the clearing, Sasuke had thought the plan over and thought that it was as good a plan as they could come up with. When they reached their destination, they saw Sakura had attacked Kakashi. She had been throwing shurikens at him in a blind rage, but Kakashi was dodging them without even looking. From the corner of his eye, Kakashi saw 2 figures emerge into the battlefield. His eyes widened a bit. It was both Naruto and Sasuke, and they were working together. Well, an alliance, huh? Let's see what you got, Kakashi said with a small smile forming underneath his mask. Suddenly out of nowhere, a Naruto appeared behind him and grabbed him by the arms. He looked in front of him and saw that Sasuke was going through hand seals. What, they planned to burn me and the clone behind me, he thought to himself. Just as Sasuke was about to finish his jutsu, Kakashi changed places with the Naruto clone, planning to use him like a shield against the incoming attack. Yet he was shocked to see Sasuke go through with the hand seals. But once he put his hands to his mouth, no flame came out. What is going on? Kakashi thought to himself. He suddenly heard a voice from his right side. He turned around and saw Sasuke holding a wind-style jutsu in his hands and launching Naruto toward him with incredible speed. Kakashi was completely shocked by their attack. But he didn't let that stop him and made a reverse U-shaped fall and saw Naruto pass right above him. But to his surprise, he saw a grin on Naruto's face. Kakashi turned to look down, where he saw a hand come out of the ground and grab the bells. Sasuke appeared and he had a grin on his face. He looked at the bells on his hand with a satisfied look. But that quickly died out when he saw both Kakashi's body and the bells turn into a log and leaf respectively. How did you know? Sasuke screamed at him. Kakashi appeared in front of him. He shrugged. I am just stronger than you. Naruto appeared right next to Sasuke. Damn it, it didn't work. Let's just attack him together, he said. They both took out kunai and were about to charge at Kakashi, but were stopped when the clock rang, signifying the end of the test. Both Naruto and Sasuke cursed themselves inwardly. Well, that's it. This is the end of the test and you all pass, Kakashi said with an eye smile, leaving Team 7 confused. What, but we didn't take the bell from you, Sasuke said. It's okay, just forget about the bell. You never would have gotten them anyway. Not even if hell froze over, Kakashi said, making his students grunt in annoyance. But you see, you did manage to decipher the real meaning of the test, which was teamwork. You worked together despite the fact that you were placed under pressure. You worked as a team and you passed the test, he explained. Both Naruto and Sasuke exchanged a look between them. Neither of them planned this. They hadn't even known about the true meaning of the test. Damn it, the entire reason we passed was dumb luck, Naruto thought to himself. So the entire test was to see if we could overcome our conflict and put the squad before ourselves, Sakura asked. That is precisely right, Kakashi said. Did you look at this stone? The names engraved on it? They are all ninjas who are honored as heroes in our village, Kakashi said, making his way to the memorial. Seeing no reply, he decided to continue. These are special kinds of heroes. They are all Kia. This is a memorial stone with the names of my closest friends engraved here, Kakashi said, looking at the stone. That is why I hold this test. A ninja must see through deception. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are scum, that's true. But those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. The exercise is over, everyone passes. Squad 7 starts their first mission tomorrow, Kakashi said, giving them a thumbs up. Now let's go home, Kakashi said as he walked away. Sakura shouted a victory cry, happy for passing. Sasuke had a small smile on his lips, while Naruto didn't show any emotions. Without a single word, he moved in a different direction from Kakashi. Sasuke turned and saw him walk away but said nothing. He and Sakura moved behind Kakashi, with Sasuke trying to gain as much distance as he could from his pink-haired fangirl. Naruto made a run towards his home. He opened the massive gate and was about to enter the mansion when he heard a knock at the gate. He went back and opened it. He saw a man with a tall and lean build with a serious and calm demeanor. He was wearing the standard attire of a Konoha ninja, including a flak jacket and a forehead protector with the Konoha core symbol. His hair was short and brown. "Who are you?" Naruto asked. "I am Yamato. I was sent by the Hokage to assist you," replied the man, now identified as Yamato. "He did, huh? Well then come inside, Yamato," Naruto told him. They both walked inside and were greeted with the sight of Naruto clones doing chores around the house. "Do you want some tea, Yamato?" Naruto asked as he made the chairs and sat down on the table. Very well, taking that as a yes, Naruto ordered his clones to make tea. "You can sit, Yamato. You don't have to be in such a panicked state. You are amongst friends here," Naruto said, trying to make Yamato more comfortable. Yamato sat down. "Well, I'll start since you don't seem like a very talkative guy. I am Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki, and I am the son of the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. And I have invited you here to be my personal bodyguard and instructor, shall we say," Naruto told him. "And you are?" "I am Yamato. My code name is Yamato. My real name is Tenzo. I graduated from the Shinobi Academy at the age of 6, where I became a Chunin. Due to the fact that I possess the ability to use with style, I worked closely with the root Umbu, but then transferred to the Umbu under the Hokage." Yamato began to explain. "How do you possess with style if you are not from the Senju clan?" Naruto instantly asked him, wanting to know more. "It is a rather dark and long story that I wish to not talk about," Yamato replied. "It is fine, we have enough time. We are not going anywhere, and I wish that we talk with no secrets between us," Naruto countered him. Yamato said nothing for a while. "Very well. I was one of 60 children that were experimented on by the rogue Sannin Orochimaru. His experiments were meant to create a child that can use with style by infusing him with Lord Hashirama's cells. The experiment was stopped, however, when the 3rd Hokage declared Orochimaru a traitor for his twisted experiments. So I was there stuck in a tube and was forced to watch the other 59 children before me die. I was the only one that survived. As a result, I gained the ability to use with style." Naruto was silent as he listened to Yamato. "After my escape, I was found by Danzo Shimura." The name made Naruto raise an eyebrow but still said nothing. "Afterwards, I was recruited into the training program of the root Umbu. There I was trained directly under Danzo, who made me learn quite a lot of jutsu of the 1st Hokage. I was given the code name Kino, and I carried out a lot of missions for Danzo, the biggest one being an attempted assassination on the Hokage." Despite Yamato's story, Naruto's face remained calm and collected. "But you were stopped by Kakashi Hatake, and then after another mission, you were brought by him to serve under the Hokage, where you would come to have the best performance record of any Umbu serving under the 3rd Hokage." Naruto continued the story on his own, shocking Yamato. "What? How did you know?" Yamato asked with surprise evident in his voice. "I had the Hokage send me a report of your background beforehand," he told Yamato. "But if you knew, then why did you make me tell you again?" "I simply wanted to see if you would lie to me and keep your loyalty to the Hokage, because as you know now, you are relieved of your duties as an Umbu and will join me as a personal guardian," Naruto explained to him. "I see. I'm pleased I passed your test. Yamato replied in a formal tone. It was then that a cup of tea was placed on their table. They both took a sip. Well, Yamato, I will call you Yamato, is that all right? That is no problem. Good. Now, Yamato, I wish to tell you of your new role. You are the very first person that I have invited to join me. You will be the first of my order of the 7. You will be my shadow. Wherever I go, you will be there in the shadows. Whatever you hear, you will tell me. Whatever you think, you will tell me. Whatever you see, you will tell me. I wish to be informed of everything that goes on in the village and beyond. Is that understood? That is understood, my lord, Yamato said as he bowed his head. Good. Then here's your first assignment. I want you to create a detailed program for me to train. Take into consideration that I will be competing in the Chunin exams in about 6 months. I want to be the winner of the exams. Naruto told him with a serious face. As you wish, I will have it completed by noon, Yamato responded. Fantastic. I believe you and I are going to get along very well, Naruto told him. Suddenly there was another knock on the door. A civilian, from his clothes I'd say a blacksmith, a clone told him. Oh, he must be the one that the old man mentioned. Yamato, let him and bring him to the audience chamber. I'll wait for him there. As you order, Yamato did as he was bid and went to open the door. He came back inside escorting a man in ragged black clothes. He saw the audience chamber and entered it. It was the first time he entered the room as well. The chamber was modest. It wasn't a massive room. It was a medium-sized room but with an elegant design, including elaborate decorations and furnishings. Naruto was seated on a cushion on the floor. Welcome to the Namake's mansion, he greeted. The old man moved forward. His hands were shaking. He kneeled down on one knee. This can't be. So it was true. The Namake's legacy still lives, he said, his voice full of excitement. You seem familiar with my lineage, unfortunately. I don't believe I can say the same thing for you, Naruto replied from atop his throne, his voice calm, collected, and formal. You honor me, my lord, but I do not come from any lineage that could interest you. I am but a blacksmith that once served your father, the man said. So I've been told. I want to meet you myself and confirm it. What is your name? My name is Otsu and I have worked in my shop now for 20 years, the man replied. I see. And is it true that you are the one that forged the legendary kunais of my father? Naruto asked. Yes, I am the one that forged them. Your father made the design and I forged them, he explained to Naruto. And what made those kunais special? Naruto continued with his questions. Your father's kunais were special for 2 reasons. They allowed for teleportation and the steel that was used on them was special. It wasn't made by normal steel. They were made of tantalum, the rarest metal on Earth. The blacksmith explained, the excitement clear on his voice. Were the kunai the ones that allowed for the teleportation, or were their seals engraved on it? The teleportation was not a tool of the kunai, but it made it possible without breaking. How so? Your father could not teleport with just any kunai because the overload of the seal would burn red hot and after a time melt all the way through the kunai, snapping it in half. My kunais were made to specifically handle this overload and make the kunai resistant. Is that so? Yes, in fact it is said that the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, had this very problem, where his kunais would melt by the temperature of the seals of teleportation. Otsu explained. So this tantalum is the rarest metal on Earth, and it can resist high temperatures? How many kunais did you make? Naruto questioned, clearly interested on the topic. Yes, tantalum is the rarest metal on Earth, and it can resist extremely high temperatures, and it was your father that provided me with it. As for how many, I made 25 kunais for your father, Otsu answered without hesitation. I understand. Tell me, Otsu, have you ever heard of Stormbringer? The ancestral sword of the Uzumaki clan? Naruto questioned. Stormbringer, yes, I have heard of it, my lord. They say the sword was created by a master blacksmith using a fallen asteroid. They say the sword was crushed in the hands of the last Uzumaki clan head during the Battle of Yuzushiogakure before the start of the Second Great Ninja War, Otsu answered, showing his knowledge of sword craftsmanship. Yes, that is precisely right. Well, do you believe you have the capability to create a sword as legendary as that? My lord, I believe I could. but I do not possess such materials. I see. Can you find those materials? I could, but... But what? Tell me. I am afraid they cost quite a lot and I can't afford such expense, my lord. Naruto smiled a little. You don't have to worry about that. I will cover all of your expenses. You will go and find the materials and create me a sword. Can you do that? Yes, my lord, I can. I have to go and find the materials necessary then. Where will you find the materials? They can't be found here in Konoha, nor in the land of fire for that matter. I will have to travel abroad, my lord. The blacksmith told him. Travel where? I know where the materials can be found. They can be found on Takanami Island in the Land of Water. They are an island well known for the production of kunai, shuriken, katanas, and other ninja equipment. Otsu explained. Takanami Island? That is one of the 8 islands directly under the control of Kirigakure, if I am not mistaken. Naruto turned to look at Yamato. You are not mistaken, Naruto. Takanami Island is under the control of Kirigakure. Yamato confirmed. Will they be open to trading with a blacksmith from Konoha? Naruto questioned. That won't be a problem. I will travel alone with no affiliation with Konoha. I should be able to purchase the materials required for my work, Otsu told him. I believe he could be able to purchase, but recently word has reaches us that Takanami Island and its ruling clan, the Mikiri, have risen in revolt against the 5th Mizukage. The civil war of Kiri ended only a year ago, so the revolt has brought back the bloodshed in the country. Yamato chimed in. Why have they revolted? Naruto asked, intrigued. The Mikiri are the rulers of Takanami Island, the second largest island of Kirigakure right after Kirishima, the main island of Kirigakure. They are also the oldest and arguably strongest clan of the village. It seems that they took offense that the 5th Mizukage is not from their clan and is also a woman. Yamato explained. Do you still wish to travel under these circumstances? Otsu? Naruto asked. The blacksmith seemed in thought. I have been thinking about retiring and leaving my shop to my son. When they told me that I would once again be meeting someone of the Namikaze clan, I got excited, my lord. I have a deep respect for your clan and even more so for your father. I would not wish to insult his memory by not being able to complete a task told to me by his son. The old man spoke with vigor. Naruto heard him carefully and a smile tugged at his lips. So you wish to continue? Yes, my lord. This will be my last great work. I shall craft you a sword even more legendary and powerful than Stormbringer. Very well. Go ahead and make your preparations. I shall give you all the money that you require for the trip. I expect good news from you. You can leave us. Naruto told him. The ragged blacksmith bowed and left with Yamato escorting him out. Yamato quickly made his way back and found Naruto still seated in the audience chamber. He had been thinking about something. Yamato, I have another assignment for you. I want you to go to the Hokage and place a bounty of 20 million ryo for any Uzumaki alive, no matter old or young, male or female. Any Uzumaki that is delivered to the village alive and unharmed will be rewarded with 20 million ryo. I want this to be added to the bingo book, Naruto commanded. As you wish, but I must ask, is this wise? This bounty could bring us imposters and could raise an alarm in the village hidden in cloud, stone, and water. After all, they were the ones that united in an attack against Uzushigakure. If they see that we are recruiting and trying to rebuild the Uzumaki clan, it could lead to an attack by them. Yamato offered his opinion. The possibility of an attack has always existed. It doesn't require a reformation of the Uzumaki clan. Besides, there has been peace ever since the last war. Nobody wants to break it. I'm sure that the only answer the other villages would have for us would be a bigger bounty on the Uzumaki as to stop us from regathering them. Naruto said, confidence clear on his voice. As you wish, Yamato said, and went to do as he was told. Naruto decided he was done for the day and left. He ate a good dinner, spent the rest of the day in the house training, and went to sleep. He woke up early in the morning and left for his meeting with Team 7, and they started going on their missions. Kakashi had sensed Yamato and privately asked him about it. Naruto told him about Yamato becoming his new bodyguard, to which Kakashi told him he had made a good choice in choosing Yamato as his bodyguard. After Team 7 were finished for the day, he went back home, took a quick shower, and went out back to the training yard where Yamato had been waiting for him. When Naruto came into the yard, he saw Yamato in a calm, meditating position. "Welcome, Naruto. I have your training program listed for you. Do you want to see it?" he questioned. "Yes, I want to." Yamato handed him a scroll and Naruto quickly read through its contents. There was taijutsu training focused on strengthening his body, there was training focused on kenjutsu, there was training that focused on casting and breaking out of genjutsu, there was also a long list of jutsu for him to learn. He continued reading the list and there was even more. Yamato had made sure to include normal subjects such as history, geography, philosophy, politics, and more, all of them with books to read upon. He turned to look at Yamato. "You have not written anything about Fuin Jutsu?" he questioned. "I have not, since I am not proficient in that shinobi art. I apologize," he said. Naruto thought about it, then said, "No worries. I shall create a group of clones to focus on that on my own." "Very well, then let's begin. The very first thing that we are going to need to improve is your chakra control, as it doesn't appear to be." "Very good," Yamato said somewhat hesitantly. "It is completely non-existent. You can tell me the truth, Yamato. I need to get stronger. I don't need kind words," Naruto told him. Yamato seemed a bit more relieved after that. "So you can go ahead and make a 500 shadow clones and we will begin the exercise." Naruto did as he was told and made 500 shadow clones. Yamato looked around, analyzing the area. "All right, can you step back a little, Naruto?" Yamato told him. Naruto made way for his sensei. With style. "Deep forest emergence," he shouted, and Naruto watched as massive trees began to grow from the earth and reach towards the sky until it blocked the sun of the yard. "What now?" "Now you will climb up the trees without using your hands. You will simply use the chakra at your feet," Yamato explained. "All right, let's begin then." Then Yamato looked as hundreds of Narutos began to walk up the tree and try to reach it, and he watched all of them fall down, none even managing to climb half of the tree. He sat down on the earth and looked. He saw one Naruto using too little chakra. He saw another one using too much of it and being thrown away from it, but at most he saw promise and potential. He saw that all the clones and the original were getting better with every attempt. It took around 2 hours, but in the end Naruto finally made it. All of his clones were now reaching the top of the trees without a problem, and so was the original. Yamato was impressed. Naruto had a lot of potential, and with the use of shadow clones he would only get better and better, and a lot faster than usual as well. He looked down at Naruto, who was resting on the ground beside him. He had removed his jacket and was wearing a simple white t-shirt now. He had a towel across his neck and was drinking some water to cool off. "It's approaching night. I think for a first day this was an incredible success. I think you should rest and we'll continue tomorrow." Naruto had a serious look on his face and he was looking in the distance. "This isn't fast enough," he suddenly said. What do you mean this isn't fast enough, this incredible speed?" "Not many can say they mastered tree walking inside 2 hours while beginning from 0." Yamato told him. "I know, but I can do better, I know it. Why don't we try it with 700 clones?" he suggested. "Naruto, I know you want to go faster, but remember what you have inside of you. Making 700 clones lowers your chakra, plus all those clones are going to use a lot of chakra themselves. If you increase the amount by that much, I am afraid the chakra of the 9 tails can begin leaking out. I already sense it even with 500 clones." Yamato explained, but Naruto still wasn't convinced. "Listen, once you master your chakra, we will begin to use more clones, all right?" "All right. I guess what you say is true. Well, do you want to continue or rest?" Yamato asked him. "Fine. I'll rest tonight and we'll continue tomorrow," Naruto said as he got up to walk inside. "Also, you just made a forest in my yard. You better be able to reverse it or you're going to pay to have it cut," Naruto told him, seeing Yamato go pale in the face. "That's not fair. I am not the one training here," Yamato screamed at him. "I don't care, you're the one that did it." Yeah, for you. Chapter 3. 1 month had passed since Team 7 officially became a team, and it had been a very unpleasant month for both of its male components. The entire month had been given to D-rank missions, which in actuality were only chores the villagers were too lazy to do by themselves. They had to water plants, catch cats, pet dogs, shop for the villagers, and other missions that Naruto considered a complete waste of time but never said it out loud. He also spent the entire month training with Yamato. He used his shadow clones to an outstanding level and mastered his chakra. After the tree climbing exercise, he completed the water walking exercise, and then he also did the leaf concentration exercise, and it was the leaf practice that Naruto found very helpful since it improved mental focus. He was a bit surprised to see that such simple exercises were able to help him that much. Before he started to train with Yamato, he had only a very basic knowledge of chakra that was taught in the academy. But now he was very close to mastering it completely. He realized that the key is not actually having chakra, but being able to sufficiently control and conserve it. Everyone has chakra, but only skilled ninja can correctly mold and manipulate it to its fullest extent. And since he was an Uzumaki, he had a lot more chakra than anyone in the village. Despite training his chakra, that didn't mean that he didn't train his physical side as well. He worked hard in improving his physical strength and stamina as well. But he had to wait to see changes, since it had only been a month since he started. As he reflected on his past month, he found himself in the office of the Hokage with his team. They had just completed the mission of capturing the cat Tora. They had done that mission quite a lot recently, since the cat always ran away, but since the customer was the wife of the daimyo and paid them handsomely, they said nothing. Now then, for Squad 7's next mission, we have several available tasks, among them babysitting the chief counselor's 3-year-old, helping his wife do the shopping, taking up potatoes, and Hiruzen read out a list of tasks for their next mission. With all due respect to you, Lord Hokage, I believe we are above those meaningless tasks. I think our team is one of the strongest genin teams in the village. I think we should be awarded a better mission than that. Naruto interrupted, making Hiruzen look at him with a serious face. He's got a point, Sasuke thought to himself. How dare you even ask for such a thing? You are a brand new genin with no experience. Like everyone else, you start with simple missions to improve your skills and gain experience. Irika shouted at him, trying to make him see reason. Naruto's face was as serious as when he talked earlier. Principal Irika, I thank you for your concern, but I am not a student that you can raise your voice to. I am a genin, yes, but I am a ninja, and that makes me your comrade. I'm not beneath you, Naruto told him. Irika was taken aback. Naruto never acted this way. He guessed he was still mad at him. His conversation with him in the hallway of the academy had made that plainly obvious. He sat back down and looked at the scrolls, a pained look on his face. Both Kakashi and Hiruzen watched the exchange with interest. Sakura wanted to scream at Naruto, but she didn't. Naruto had changed this past month. He wasn't the same as he was back in the academy. He didn't seem to take insults lightly, so she wisely decided to keep her mouth shut. Naruto, it seems that you do not understand the tasks that you have been given. Seeing Naruto listening, Hiruzen continued. Listen, many kinds of different requests come into our village every day, from babysitting to assassination. These requests are carefully recorded, analyzed, and then ranked A, B, C, or D, depending on their difficulty. We ninja are also ranked by ability, Hiruzen explained. We assign our missions to the ninjas with the appropriate skill, and if the mission is successful, we receive a fee that supports our village and our work. I do know that, and I am suggesting that we have the appropriate skill to do higher-ranked missions, Naruto shot back. Kakashi is the judge of that, not you. So Kakashi, what do you think? Are they ready for a higher-ranked mission? Hiruzen asked, awaiting an answer. In all honesty, Lord Hokage, yes, I think they are ready for a higher-ranked mission. Kakashi answered truthfully. Is that so? Hiruzen smiled a little. Naruto wants to show us his improvement, isn't that right? Then so be it. Since you want a higher-ranked mission, I am going to give you a C-rank mission. You'll be bodyguards on a journey, the Hokage told them. Naruto looked at Kakashi, who gave him an eye smile. We humbly accept, Kakashi responded. And who are we going to be protecting? I will bring him in now. Send in our visitor, Hiruzen said, and the door behind them opened, revealing a middle-aged man, with a gray beard and a bottle of alcohol in his hand. From the look on his face, Naruto saw that he was drunk. What the? A bunch of little snot-nosed kids, he said before he took another sip of his bottle. They don't look bad for kids, but you don't want me to believe they can keep me safe. I am Tazuna, a master bridge builder. and I must return to my country. I am building a bridge there that will change our world, and I expect you to get me there safely even if it means giving up your own lives," he told them. And with that, they all left and made their way towards the gates of the village. Despite the fact that there wasn't going to be any danger on the mission, Naruto still felt a bit of excitement wash over him. It was the first time that he would be leaving the village, and he was a little excited. Once he reached the gates, he stopped to take in the view, and up in the trees he sensed a familiar chakra. Tazuna was talking with Kakashi while they were walking. "Can I really trust your team to keep me safe?" "You don't have to worry. They are with me, and I am Jonin," Kakashi tried to reassure him. With that, they started their walk towards their destination, not aware of two people watching over them. "Say, Mr. Tazuna, your country is the land of waves, right?" Sakura asked. "Yeah, what of it?" Tazuna replied to the question. "Kakashi-sensei, there are ninjas in that country, aren't there?" she asked Kakashi. "No, there are no ninjas in the land of waves, but in other nations there are hidden villages, each with their own different costumes and cultures," Kakashi explained to her. "To the people of this continent, the existence of shinobi nations means strength, military strength. In other words, that's how they protect themselves and maintain the balance of power between the nations. Ninja villages are not controlled by any government. They're independent and have equal status. Now a small island like the Land of Waves is protected by the sea, so there is no need for a ninja village," Kakashi explained. "The 5 ancient lands that possess shinobi villages are the land of fire, water, lighting, wind, and earth. They each occupy vast amounts of territory. Together they are known as the 5 great shinobi nations. The land of fire has the village of Konoha, the land of water the village of Kiri, the land of lighting the village of Kumo, the land of earth the village of Iwa, and the land of wind has the village of Suna," Kakashi continued. "Only the leaders of these villages are permitted the title of Kage, which means shadow. Hokage, Mizukage, Reikage, Kazekage, Tsuchikage. These are the leaders, the 5 shadows that reign over thousands of ninja," Kakashi finished. "Then that means the Hokage is very important," Sakura said aloud, but deep inside really wondered if the old man was really that strong. "Well, anyway, there are no ninja battles on a C-rank missions. You can relax," Kakashi said, trying to calm her down. "So we won't run into enemy ninjas or anything like that," Sakura said with a smile on her face. "Not likely." They then continued their walk for another half an hour, passing by a puddle of water. And Naruto instantly looked at Kakashi. His sensei instantly understood that Naruto saw it too. But they said nothing and walked past it. After they passed, the puddle released some bubbles and 2 people came out of it. Without wasting any time, they instantly attacked and tied Kakashi with both of their chains. "Do it," was the last thing they said before snapping Kakashi in half. Sakura and Tazuna screamed in horror, seeing Kakashi's body drop to the ground. Naruto and Sasuke remained calm and prepared for battle. Both the enemy ninjas disappeared and appeared behind Naruto, but he reacted quickly, elbowing one of them in the face and sending him flying into a nearby tree. The other one was about to retaliate but was sent flying by a kick to his face by Sasuke. But they weren't defeated. Both of them got up and instantly went after the bridge builder. Sakura got in front of him to protect him, but their charge was stopped by the arms of Kakashi, who appeared in front of them. Sakura smiled in delight at Kakashi being alive, while Naruto and Sasuke looked at him with annoyed faces. He looked at them all. "Great job, everyone." "Great reaction, Naruto and Sasuke. You too, Sakura." Sakura looked at Naruto. Since when did Naruto become so strong? He reacted even faster than Sasuke, and not even a scratch remains on him, she thought to herself. "By the way, Mr. Tazuna," Kakashi said, looking at the client. "Yeah, what?" "We need to talk." They tied up both of their attackers to a nearby tree. "They're Chunin from the village of Kiri. Their speciality is relentless attack. They keep fighting no matter what the sacrifice," Kakashi explained. "How did you know about our ambush?" one of them asked. "A puddle in a clear day when it hasn't rained in weeks," Naruto answered his question. In that case, why didn't you do anything and let the genin fight? Tazuna asked them. I could have taken them out quickly, but then I would have learned nothing. I had to know who their target was, and what they were after, Kakashi explained. Huh, what are you getting at? I wanted to know if they were after us, ninja attacking ninja, or if they were after you, the master bridge builder. When you put in your request, you asked for standard protection from robbers and highwaymen. You didn't say there were ninja looking for you, hunting you down. If we knew this, it would be a B-rank mission or higher, Kakashi said. Our task was simply to get you to your destination and protect you while you finished building your bridge. If we knew we'd be fielding attacks from enemy ninja, we would have staffed differently and charged for the cost of a B-rank mission. Apparently you have your reasons, but lying to us is unacceptable, Kakashi told him. We are genin, this is too advanced for our level of training, Sakura said, pleading to go back. Naruto scoffed. Kakashi-sensei, we have worked too hard to get here. We can't just go back to the village after all this, Naruto said. Yeah, Naruto is right, let's continue this mission, Sasuke said. He rarely talked, so it was weird seeing him agree with Naruto. You want to continue? Kakashi asked both of them. Yes, was the combined answer of the two. Sakura. He turned to look at his only female student. I guess it's fine, she said timidly. XXXXXXXX. Deep in the forest of the land of waves. You failed, what is this amateur action? I put out big money for you. I thought you were supposed to be hot-shot assassins, screamed a short man with glasses. Stop whining, replied another man. He was seated on a couch. He drew a large sword and swung it at the short man, stopping at his throat. This time I'll go personally, and this sword will be the last sword he ever sees. The masked man told him. You sure about that? They say Tazuna has some elite ninja protecting him, and since your first attempt failed, they'll be expecting you. It will take someone with very advanced skills, the short man said. His tone was shaking. Who do you think you're dealing with? I am Zabuza Momochi, the demon of Kiri. XXXXXXXX. Team 7 were approaching the land of waves fast, but since it was an island, they had to take a boat there. And to make it worse, they were surrounded by a thick fog that obscured their vision. The bridge isn't far now, said their boat sailor. And true enough, they saw the bridge. It was massive, and Team 7 was quite impressed. Mr. Tazuna, I wish to ask you something. The men who are after you, I need to know why. If you don't tell us, I am afraid I will end this mission once we land ashore, Kakashi warned him. I have no choice but to tell you. No, I want you to know the truth, like you said. This is beyond your mission. The one that seeks my life is a very short man that cast a long and deadly shadow. A deadly shadow? Who is it? You know him. I'm sure you've heard his name before. He is one of the wealthiest men in the world, the shipping businessman Gato. Gato, you mean the owner of Gato Transport? He is a business leader, everyone knows him, Kakashi said with surprise clearly evident in his voice. Gato is a very powerful tycoon from a famous company, but beneath the surface, with the same ruthless tactics he uses to take over businesses and nations, he sells drugs and contraband using gangs and ninja. It was 1 year ago when Gato set his sight on the land of waves. He came to our land and took control of our transport and shipping. Everyone that tried to stand up to him disappeared. For an island nation, a man that controls the sea controls everything, Tazuna explained. So that is why he fears the completion of the bridge. When it is complete, it will join us to the mainland and it will destroy his control. I am the bridge builder. So you're the only one that's standing in this gangster's way, Sakura said. But if you knew that he would want to kill you, why did you lie to us about the mission? Naruto asked him. Our land is poor, not even the nobles here have that much money. It is the people that are building the bridge. We do not have the money to pay for an A or B rank mission. It is too expensive. If you leave me at the shore, they will kill me before I reach home. But don't feel bad about that. Of course my little grandson will be upset. He will cry, I want my granddad. I want my granddad, he said, making Team 7 annoyed in the process. I guess we will continue to protect you, Kakashi said, making a decision. We are approaching the shore, the sailor said, breaking the silence. Tazuna, we have been very fortunate. Nobody has noticed us so far. Then let's keep going. The boat went underneath the bridge and brought them to the site of the land of waves. Their boat's sailor stopped them at the shore and left them. He didn't want to be seen. They started their journey towards Tezuna's home. The next opponent will not be Chunin. He will be Jonin, Kakashi thought to himself. Naruto continued to walk in front of them. After a while of walking, Naruto threw a kunai at a bush suspecting an enemy, but it turned out it was only a rabbit. This is a snow rabbit, but the color they only have white fur during winter, both Kakashi and Naruto thought. They both seemed to check their surrounding carefully. So they're already here. No wonder the Demon Brothers failed their mission. It's the copy ninja from Konoha, Kakashi of the Sharingan. Out of nowhere, a massive sword flew towards Team 7. They managed to dodge just in time. The sword hit and got stuck in a tree, and on top of him appeared a shirtless masked man. Well, if it isn't Zabuza Momochi, rogue ninja from the village of Kiri. Kakashi said. This could be treacherous, Kakashi said as he began to lift his headband, revealing his eye, a red eye with 3 tomo on it. It's too bad, but you are my enemy, so you will have to hand over the old man, Zabuza told him. Protect the bridge builder and stay out of my way, Kakashi told them. Well, guess I get to see the Sharingan in action. It's an honor, Zabuza said with a smile underneath the bandages. I'll make sure it is more than an honor. It will be the last thing you ever see, Kakashi told him. Well, you can try. I know of you, Jonin. In the assassination unit in Kiri, we had a standing order to kill you on sight. Your profile was in our bingo book. They called you the man that copied over 1,000 jutsus. Kakashi, the copy ninja, Zabuza told him. Kakashi-sensei is really that famous of a ninja, Sakura thought. But the Sharingan only awakens on an Uchiha. My clan? So how does Kakashi have it? Sosuke thought to himself. All right, enough talk. It is time I kill the old man, Zabuza told them. He got down on the water and began to build a large amount of chakra, which was noted by Kakashi. Ninja art. Hidden in Mist Jutsu, he said. Be ready. He is Zabuza Momochi, a master of the silent killing technique. His team took their position around the bridge builder. Sakura commented on the mist getting thicker. 8 points, spine, lungs, liver, kidneys. Heart now, which will be my kill point, Zabuza's voice rang out throughout the arena. Kakashi gathered his own chakra. Sasuke sensed the killing intent, something that scared even him. Sasuke, calm down. I will protect you with my life. I will never allow my comrades to die, Kakashi told them. I wouldn't be so sure, Zabuza told him, appearing right behind the bridge builder. In an instant, Kakashi appeared in front of him and stabbed Zabuza in the gut with a kunai, but instead of blood, water leaked out of Zabuza, showing that it was a water clone. The real Zabuza appeared behind him and cut him in half, only to find out that Kakashi too was a water clone. Kunai was placed at Zabuza's throat. Now it's over, Kakashi told him. Nice try, but I am not that easy to fool, Zabuza told him, appearing right behind him. He swung his sword with full force, but Kakashi dodged underneath, and Zabuza's sword hit the ground. Without wasting movement, he changed direction and kicked him across the chest, sending him flying into the water. Zabuza tried to chase him, but was toped by the traps in the ground laid by Kakashi. Kakashi finally got up above the water. He realized that the water was not normal, it was denser. Appearing right behind him, Zabuza went through hand signs water prison jutsu. He shouted, engulfing Kakashi in a circle of water. I'll finish you off later. First I'll take care of your friends, he told him. Water clone jutsu, he said, and the water next to him took the shape of another Zabuza. You think wearing a headband makes you a ninja? When you hovered between life and death so many times it doesn't faze you, then you might be called a ninja. When you've become so deadly your profile is in my bingo book, then you may have earned the title ninja. But to call upstart like you ninja is a joke, Zabuza said before suddenly appearing in front of Sasuke and kicked him. You're just brats, he said in a mocking tone. Listen, take the bridge builder and run, you can't win this. He is using his power on me, and is fighting with his clone, and his clone can't go that far away from him, so run. Run? No, that isn't an option, Naruto told him. He took a kunai out and charged at Zabuza. He threw kunais at him and vanished. Zabuza looked around, trying to find him. He appeared behind him and took a stab at Zabuza, but he was faster than him, so he dodged. Zabuza quickly spun around and trying to cleave Naruto's head off with his sword. But Naruto dodged and spun back, gaining some distance. Zabuza was about to charge at him once again but was thrown in complete pain as he was hit by a massive fire attack on his unprotected back. And the clone completely dispersed. Naruto looked back and saw Sasuke was the one that had unleashed the attack. "Good for a moment. I thought you wouldn't take the opportunity to attack," Naruto told him. "Nah, he was wide open. Of course I was going to," Sasuke said with a grin on his face. They turned around and looked at the real Zabuza. He was watching them in complete anger. "Damn those brats. How did they manage to defeat my water clone?" he thought to himself. Kakashi looked at them in awe. They actually did it. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Now we have to free Kakashi-sensei," Naruto said. "Right, so how do we do that?" "Shuriken." Sasuke understood. He took out a massive shuriken in hand and launched it at the real Zabuza with incredible speed, but the shuriken was caught by Zabuza in his left hand. He was about to say something until he saw the second massive shuriken come his way. He dodged the second one as well by jumping above it. "I told you shuriken will never reach me," he told them, but quickly turned around when he heard the shuriken behind him disappear in a puff of smoke, revealing Naruto. "Take this, you ugly bastard," he said as he threw a shuriken from behind Zabuza. Being forced to either take the attack and keep Kakashi, or let Kakashi go and dodge the attack, he chose the latter option. He dodged the kunai but lost his grip in the water prison. Without wasting any time and in a rage, he took the shuriken that he had caught earlier and threw it at the original Naruto. As if to only anger him further, Naruto caught the shuriken the same way Zabuza did earlier. "Why, you little," Zabuza muttered. He didn't have time to dwell on his thoughts when he was punched in the gut by Kakashi. He recovered quickly and gained some distance. Zabuza started to go through hand seals and Kakashi mirrored them perfectly. Team 7 watched on as two water dragons formed, one behind Zabuza and the other behind Kakashi, before they both collided with one another in an incredible spectacle of power. As they continued their fight, Zabuza came to realize that his movements were being completely predicted by Kakashi. It was as if he could see the future, as if he could read his mind as well. It made him extremely mad. It quickly became apparent that Kakashi was the one in control of the fight, with Zabuza struggling to keep up. In a final attack, Kakashi created a giant vortex that sent him flying up against a tree. "You're finished," Kakashi told him. "How can you see into the future?" Zabuza asked with a bit of fear in his tone. "Yes, this is your last battle, ever," he told him, but was completely shocked to see 3 senbons implant themselves into Zabuza's neck. Blood spilled out and he went down to the ground. Kakashi looked up at the tree ahead of him and saw a masked shinobi. "You were right. This was his last battle," the ninja told them. Kakashi went and checked Zabuza's pulse. No pulse. He looked at the ninja above him. "Thank you, I have been tracking him for quite a while to take him down, but it was this opportunity for me to end him. From your mask, I see that you are a tracker ninja from the Kiri," Kakashi said, in a suspicious voice. "Impressive, you're well informed. It was my duty to kill him." Kakashi's eyes narrowed at him. Kakashi moved away from the body back to his team, and in a swift instant motion the ninja moved to Zabuza's body. "Your struggle is over for now. I will deal with the remains," the ninja said before made hand signs to leave. "Wait," Naruto's voice caught everyone off guard. "What is it?" the tracker ninja asked him. "Kill him," Naruto told him. "What?" Naruto's words shocked everyone around him. "You say you are a tracker nin, well then go ahead, kill him. Destroy his body right here, that's your job, isn't it? Destroy the body at the moment of sight, that's the duty of the tracker nin." A silence entered the area for a while and nobody said anything. "Naruto's right, the tracker nin destroys the body instantly," Kakashi said, eyeing his student and the ninja in front of him. "Very well," the masked ninja said before he reached for something into his back pocket. Naruto wanted to ask what he was doing but got his answer when the nin shot something down in the ground, creating a lot of smoke. "Damn it," How did we fall for that? It was a smoke bomb, Naruto cursed. When the smoke cleared, there were no sign of either of them. Kakashi put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. You did good for one day, now it's time we rest, Kakashi told him. Well, sorry for causing you all this trouble, but since that guy is out of the way now we can go and rest at my house, Tazuna told them with a smile on his face. Let's go, Kakashi said, beginning to move, but suddenly he was struck by pain throughout his entire body and fainted. He woke up the next morning to find himself in bed in Tazuna's house. I think I overdid it with my Sharingan. Are you okay? Asked Tazuna's daughter. She had been the one to look after the Jonin ever since they had brought them into the house. I've been better, he acknowledged. Then all the more reason to stop moving. Right, Kakashi laid down, not long after he heard footsteps coming to his room. He opened his one eye and saw his team, but not all of them. Only Sasuke and Sakura were there. Their blonde teammate was missing. Hey Kakashi-sensei, your Sharingan is amazing and all, but if it drains you like this, then maybe it isn't worth it, Sakura told him as she knelt beside the bed. I'm sorry for the trouble you guys, Kakashi apologized to them. There's no need for apologizing. After all, you defeated that assassin. We shouldn't have any more trouble, Tazuna exclaimed. Well, let's not forget. He did escape with that hunter Nin, Kakashi told them skeptically. Yeah, we have no idea who that ninja was, Sakura said worriedly. Hey, where is Naruto? Kakashi asked suddenly. He left a bit earlier too. Sasuke began to explain but was suddenly interrupted by a voice behind him. He must have left and ran. Good, at least he has a brain. A small voice rang out. Team 7 turned to look at him. It was a boy with spiky black hair and dark-colored eyes. He wore a green jumpsuit with a yellow shirt and a simple pair of sandals. He also wore a blue and white striped hat. Inari, come and give your grandpa a hug, Tazuna shouted. Inari did just what he was told and ran to hug his granddad. After he was done, he turned to look at Team 7. You should also leave. You can't do anything against Gato. He'll simply kill you, he said before he walked away, leaving Team 7 to ponder his words. XXXXXXXX. The weather was clear and it gave the ocean a majestic look, and the cold winds of the ocean washed against his face, but Naruto didn't mind that. He had taken a place under the shade of the tree overlooking the ocean. He was sat down on the ground. His arm rested above his knee that nearly reached his face. Right next to him stood a tall figure, dressed in Konoha shinobi gear. They both stood there in silence, watching the tides of the water. Just there beyond this water lies the main island of Whirlpool Country and the village of Uzumaki, Naruto said. Are you sure you can't get us a ship to the island, Yamato? Naruto asked once again, hoping to get a different answer. I investigated all the ships at port. They all belong to Gato, and none would want to take the journey to Uzumaki. It seems this nation has gotten superstitions about Whirlpool Country. They call it the land of demons. They say demons, vampires, dwarfs, dragons, sea monsters among others inhabit the island, Yamato told him. Demons and dragons, is that it? They have quite the imagination. They certainly seem to. Well, anyway, did you manage to gain information on the location of Zabuza and that ninja that took him away? Naruto asked, changing the topic. Yeah, I followed them back to their hideout. I know where they are. It seems like Zabuza won't be able to get up for a week, Yamato told him. I see. Well, that is good news for us. Anything else you learned? Yes, it seems that Gato plans to backstab Zabuza and take over the land of waves by force. Is that so? Well, let him. In fact, I think we can use this to our advantage. How so? I'll tell you later. For now, I want you to keep a close eye on the missing ninja. I am very interested to see what abilities he can display, Naruto said, his eyes never leaving the ocean. As you wish, was the only thing Yamato said before he vanished. Naruto got up as well. He looked at the ocean one last time before he pushed his thoughts out of his head. He needed a clear mind for the week ahead. He began walking back to Tazuna's home when he ran into his own team on their way to the nearby forest. Kakashi told him about the training. He went with them and took a look at their training. However, he was deeply disappointed at the basic training that Kakashi was planning to get them through. It was the simple exercise of tree walking. He quickly proved to Kakashi that he could do the exercise. Naruto saw Sasuke's eyes flicker in jealousy at him, and so did Kakashi, but neither of them said anything. Kakashi then told Naruto that he should use his ability of the Shadow Clone Jutsu and help with the construction of the bridge. He complied. He was greeted with the sight of Tazuna and all other workers diligently toiling on the bridge. Naruto's sharp blue eyes scanned the scene until he spotted Tazuna overseeing the construction. With purposeful strides, he made his way towards the bridge, intending to stand alongside the determined builder. However, before he could reach Tazuna, a man named Jichi intercepted, disrupting the serene atmosphere. "Huh? What's up, Jichi?" Actually, I gave it a lot of this bridge. Will you let me quit?" he asked. Tazuna was shocked. "Why so suddenly? Not you too." Jichi's stern expression bore the weight of his decision. "Tazuna, I've had a bond with you from the old days. I'd like to cooperate, but if we push it too far, Gato will set his sights on us, too. Also, if you get killed, everything is lost. Why don't you just stop building the bridge?" The plea echoed through the air, laden with concern. Tazuna, however, remained resolute in his commitment. "I will not stop building the bridge. We've come too far," he declared, his determination unwavering. As the tension thickened, Naruto, who had observed the entire exchange in silence, decided to make his voice heard. Stepping forward, he addressed Tazuna with a conviction that resonated in his words. "Tazuna, let this pathetic coward go. If you need manpower, then you've got them right here." With a swift hand sign, Naruto conjured an astonishing spectacle. Hundreds of shadow clones materialized on the bridge, each mirroring his determined expression. The workers and even Tazuna himself stood in awe, witnessing the impressive display of Naruto's skill. The sheer number of clones created an army of willing labor, ready to contribute to the construction of the bridge. After 3 hours of hard labor, Naruto's last clone ran out of energy. All those in the bridge were absolutely amazed at Naruto's clones. They were a massive life savior. They had never completed so much work in such short hours, and they were really glad that the blonde was on their side. He didn't seem to smile much, but he was helping them get their job done. After the clone died out, they decided to call it a day and head back home. They took the road through the main city where Naruto saw firsthand just how poor the country was. He saw men selling themselves into labor. He saw children sleeping of the streets. He saw the stores were completely bare. "I was asked to get some ingredients for dinner on the way home. Is it a problem if we stop at a nearby store?" Tazuna said as politely as he could. After seeing his ability, he didn't want to risk offending Naruto. Naruto saw the change in behavior but said nothing about it. "Sure," he replied to Tazuna's question. They entered a shop and Tazuna bought what he wanted. They both walked down the street in relative quiet. Was the land of waves always this poor, or is this a new occurrence? Naruto questioned. "This is how it's been ever since Gato showed up. Here, all the adults have turned into cowards. So that's why now that bridge is necessary. It's a symbol of bravery. In order to restore their spirit, so they don't keep running away." Tazuna began talking. "For the people of this land, who have set their minds on remaining passive, if we can just complete that bridge, this town will return to how it once was, and everyone will come back." Tazuna said, sounding hopeful. "I see. I think you can do it. I think you can rebuild your nation," Naruto told him. "Really, you think so? You really think we can do it?" Tazuna asked, wanting to hear it one more time. "Yeah, I do believe you can do it," Naruto reassured him. Tazuna wiped a few tears from his eyes. "But I think you have to do more than just build the bridge." "What do you mean?" "Building the bridge would be good and everything, but there is no guarantee that Gato would not just tear it all down. What you need to do is to eliminate Gato out of the equation." "How do we do that?" "I think you should leave that part up to us." "Let's go back," Tazuna said. You go ahead without me, I need to check on someone first, he said before he jumped away, moving from rooftop to rooftop. He reached his intended destination quickly and sat atop a tree watching. He looked around, his sensei and Sakura were nowhere to be seen. They most likely finished. Sakura doesn't have that much chakra, so she shouldn't have that much of a problem with this exercise, he thought. He looked down and saw Sasuke trying to climb up. He was going as far as he could, but it didn't look like he could reach the top. Naruto stood there and watched him go up again and again and again, only to fall short. He made his way towards him. "Hi there," he greeted. Sasuke looked up to see him. His breathing was ragged. "Need some help?"
No.
Yes, you do. If you didn't, you would have reached the top by now, isn't that right? Naruto asked, but it looked more like he was telling. "What do you want?" Sasuke growled at him. "Listen, chakra uses spiritual energy, so you mustn't get too strained or frantic. Relax and concentrate on the tree so that you can constantly accumulate a fixed amount of chakra in the bottom of your feet. Concentrate. That's all there really is to it." Naruto's explanation hit Sasuke like a brick. This entire thing, he hadn't even realized that most basic of things. He was feeling jealous of Naruto for knowing something that he himself didn't know. That in turn destroyed his focus. For his next attempt, he did what Naruto told him, and it worked at least better than usual. He couldn't reach the top, but he definitely saw progress. After a couple more tries, they went back to the house and ate dinner. Sakura inquired about the picture frame in the house, and Tazuna began to tell them the story with tears on his eyes. To explain the incident, I must first tell you about the man who was called the hero of this land. Hero? It was around 3 years ago, when Inari met the man. Tazuna began telling them of Inari's suffering as a child, being bullied by other kids. XXXXXXXXX. Pachi! Pachi! He screamed at the other kids. Wrong. His name's Shooting Star. As of today, he's my dog, the other kid told him. He's not Shooting Star. He's my Pachi. Give him back. Pachi's my friend. Who's going to give him to the likes of you? The other kid mocked him. Shut up, Pachi. To me now, he screamed. Not willing to take it any longer, the other boy decided to put an end to the show and push the dog into the water. That's 'cause you wouldn't hand him over quietly. Now I couldn't care less about that dog, the older boy told him with a smirk on his face. What have you done? Are you trying to kill Pachi? Inari screamed in horror. Heh, he's your special mutt, right? Then save him, quick. What's the matter? Is it okay with you if he dies? Of course I'm not okay with him dying. He's my only friend, Inari reassured himself. One of the boys walked behind him. Hey, if you're his owner, dive in after him, he said as he kicked Inari in the back and pushed him into the water. The boys watched as Inari struggled in the water. He couldn't swim. This is bad, Akane. What if he can't swim? One of the boys said nervously as they heard Inari's plea for help. Leave him be, the one identified as Akane told them. But what if he drowns or some? Then why don't you go save him if you like? Akane warned him, grabbing him by the collar. As he was struggling, Inari saw his pet dog Pachi swim away. He tried to reach for him, but he couldn't, so he screamed at him, but Pachi didn't care to listen and swam away. Pachi learned how to dog paddle then. Shooting Star escaped. Get him! Shouted Akane, and with that they ran after the dog, completely ignoring Inari, leaving him to drop to the very bottom of the ocean. He woke up after a good couple of hours. Are you awake, boy? An unfamiliar voice asked him. I gave those kids a good scolding. Here, eat. He offered him a fish that he had been cooking. Is this God? Oh, he thought to himself. Did you save me? He asked. Just eat. Start with that. The man told him. He did as he was told and ate. After a while they began talking again. I see. You were betrayed by your dog, too. In my country, dogs are creatures that have a keen sense of loyalty. Well, you betrayed your dog's trust first, so there's nothing you can do about that. The man told him. I was scared and couldn't move. I wanted to save him, but I have no guts, so Inari admitted to him. That's right. Of course, a kid your age would be scared. But you know, boy. The man admitted. He glanced at Inari. Just remember this. If you're a man, choose a lifestyle you won't regret. For things I truly hold dear to myself, I'll protect them until the very end with both these arms. Even if it's tough or sad, I'll stick it out. Even if it looks like I might lose my life. XXXXXXXXX. His name was Kaiza, and he was a fisherman who'd come to this land from another country in search of his dreams. Tazuna continued his story. After that, Inari really took to Kaiza. It may have been because Inari had lost his real father when he was too young to remember anything. But he was very attached to Kaiza. They were like father and son. It didn't take long for Kaiza to become a member of the family. Tazuna recounted. And he was a man this town needed. His last statement drew some weird glances from Team 7. He told them the story of Kaiza and how he fixed the river dam in the middle of a massive storm, gaining the respect of everyone in the village. From then on, the people of this land called Kaiza a hero, and he became a father that Inari could be proud of. Tazuna told them with pride evident on his voice. It was around that time when Gato set his sights on this land. And then, one night, Tazuna's voice suddenly turned grim. XXXXXXXXX. They say that you're going to protect this town with those arms. One of Gato's thugs mocked him as he hit Kaiza with a metal rod. I dare you to, Gato told him, a smirk plastered on his face. Well, don't worry, my men will make sure those arms of yours aren't active for anything. He told him before massive hammers swung at him, hitting him until he went unconscious. After the sun had risen, the village woke up to see the gathered man of Gato Corporation gathered around a huge wooden cross with a man tied to it. They quickly realized that it was Kaiza. Listen up. This man resisted through force the policies of the Gato Corporation and disturbed the order of this nation. Therefore, he will now be executed. I just hope that such trivial matters will never occur again. Gato spoke to them. Inari had taken a place in front of the crowd. He griped the bars that kept them away from Kaiza. Tears were pouring down his face after seeing the face of his father. Gato moved away and one of his thugs unsheathed his sword. With one swift movement, he took off Kaiza's head off. XXXXXXXXX. Ever since then, Inari has changed, as well as Tsunami and the townspeople. Tazuna finished the story. Chapter 4. One night passed since Team 7 were told of Inari's story by Tazuna. Sakura seemed saddened by the information she had received. Sasuke and Kakashi had remained silent, but their faces did show empathy. Naruto didn't seem to care all that much, a fact that Sakura had seen and screamed at him when they had gone in their temporary bedroom. Naruto hadn't said anything, and had simply left in the middle of the night. It had angered Sakura that he hadn't cared about the story, and even more so that he had flat out ignored her. Good morning. Sakura greeted everyone as she came downstairs and sat on the dinner table. Here, Tazuna's daughter told her as she placed a plate of food on her table. Thank you. Sakura didn't forget her manners. Where is Naruto? Won't he come down to eat? Tazuna asked the question he had been wondering. He left a while back. I doubt that he will come to eat. Kakashi told them quickly, trying to end the topic. Did he go out to train? I was hoping to get him to help me once again with the bridge today. Tazuna insisted, wanting to know. Naruto helped you with the bridge? Sasuke asked in a curious tone. Yeah, I must say that kid is unbelievable. He did this jutsu and made hundreds of himself. We had never done so much work in our life. Were I would quit being a ninja and open up my own company. I could have hundreds of employees and I wouldn't even have to pay them. Tazuna laughed. Sasuke said nothing for a moment before he got up from the table. Sasuke? Sakura seemed to want to know where he was going. I'm going for a walk, was the only thing he said before he walked out. XXXXXXXX. Naruto found himself in the woods of the forest. The massive trees seemed to calm him down. He couldn't explain why, but for some reason he simply loved the ocean view. He was seated down on the ground, his back was against a tree. He thought that the ocean called out to him. He wanted to sail, to leave all of them behind and go to Whirlpool Country. He hadn't cared or listened to anything that Sakura had said to him last night. She was beneath him. Thus her words didn't have weight to him. He had left because he wanted to spend more time in nature. He heard some footsteps to his side. He got up and drew a kunai from his pouch, but removed it after he saw a young woman come towards him. She seemed to be gathering herbs in the forest. "You shouldn't be walking out in the forest at this early of an hour. You could catch a cold," she said to him. "Yet that doesn't seem to stop you, does it?" he replied shortly, lowering his guard. "I am from here. The climate doesn't really affect me anymore." "But you are not from here, are you?" she said, pointing to his headband. "No, I am not," Naruto admitted. "What are you doing here in this hour?" Naruto questioned. "I am gathering medical herbs," she told him. "Medical herbs?" Naruto said. It took a long look at her. His look made her nervous. "Medical herbs are used for healing injuries, sickness, and the like. So who are you treating?" Naruto asked with a hint of suspicion in his voice. "I am treating my old grandpa," she said quickly. "I see. Hope he gets better soon. Wouldn't want your hard work to go in vain." "You're too kind, but you didn't tell me. What are you doing here?" she suddenly asked him. "I'm training." "But why are you training?" she asked him. "I need to get stronger." "You look strong enough." "No, I need to get even stronger." "Okay, but why?" Naruto seemed to think a bit. "I need to get stronger to protect those close to me. I need to get stronger to restore the might of my clan." The girl's eyes widened a little when she heard him say those last words. "Restore your clan? What clan do you come from?" she asked, curious. "The Uzumaki clan." "I see. I think you and I are alike. We both want to protect those close to us. For you see, when a person has something precious they want to protect, that's when they can truly become strong," she told him. Naruto said nothing. She took the casket of herbs, got up, and started to walk away. "By the way, I am a boy. I thought we were telling truths here. I hoped you wouldn't lie to me. Don't worry, I understand. Safer to travel, isn't that right?" Naruto said, looking at her. She had a small smile on her face. "You're hard to fool, aren't you?" was the last thing she said before she went away. "Well, I didn't expect Zabuza's apprentice to be a girl," he thought to himself. He saw Sasuke coming towards the forest. He passed the girl on the way but said nothing to her. He looked at Naruto. "Why didn't you come for breakfast?" he asked abruptly.
Eva eaten.
"When?" "Earlier." "You've been training all night, haven't you?" Sasuke asked. "Not really. Just been wandering around," Naruto said to him in a bored tone. "Well, Tazuna asked for you earlier. He wonders if you will go and help him today as well." "I will." "Well, anyway, I might as well start my training," Sasuke said as took out a kunai. He measured up against a tree and started running upwards. Naruto looked at him run up and down the tree, sometimes going a long way up, sometimes falling short. Sasuke jumped down on the ground to gather back his chakra. "Sasuke," he called out. He turned and looked at him. "What is it?" "I was wondering, you are an Uchiha. There are no other Uchihas in the village, so that makes you the Uchiha clan leader, does it not?" Sasuke didn't like to be reminded of his clan's passing, but wanted to know where Naruto was going with this. His black eyes scanned Naruto closely. "Yes, that's true. What of it? And where do you live? Do you live in your clan's compound?" Naruto continued with his questions. "No, I don't. The Hokage gave me a flat on the heart of the village," Sasuke answered truthfully. "And why is that? Did you refuse to live there, or did the Hokage refuse for you?" Naruto's words angered Sasuke. "What the hell are you trying to get at?" he lashed out at him. "I was curious. Do you even know of the power you hold within Konoha?" Naruto remained calm despite Sasuke's anger and continued. "You have the position of a clan leader, therefore you can vote in which direction the village goes. You also have the power to reinstate the police force of the village. Naruto's words took Sasuke back. He hadn't thought of these things. The death of his clan had hurt him deeply, and ever since that day he had completely ignored everything else other than revenge. He wanted to kill his big brother, and that was all he ever thought about. So you didn't even know about it, huh? Well, no surprises there. Tell me, are you familiar with Danzo Shimura? Danzo Shimura, do you mean that old man with the bandaged eye and arm? Yeah, I know him. I mean, I did have a brief exchange with him a few years ago, but he didn't say much and I never saw him again after that, Sasuke admitted. And what did he tell you during that meeting? He asked about my Sharingan and the events that occurred that night. Sasuke said, his voice getting lower and lower as he recalled his past. Naruto's eyes narrowed at the information that he received. He had learned about Danzo Shimura quite a while back, and from what he had heard about him, the guy was going to be a massive problem. Well, anyway, enough about the past, what about the future? Naruto suddenly asked. What about the future? What do you plan to do? You said you plan to get revenge, what comes after that? Naruto's words took Sasuke aback once again. The blonde seemed to always have a way to point out the obvious that eluded Sasuke. I don't know, Sasuke unbelievably stuttered. He was always thinking of his revenge, that he had never stopped to reconsider what he would do once he got his revenge. You don't? That's so? What about your clan? Do you want another family? Don't you wish to see the Uchiha clan rise once again? Of course I want to, Sasuke said out loud. Well then we do seem to have the same dreams, Naruto said as he got up. Except you seem to have a plan that I don't. Then I suggest you start formulating one for yourself, Naruto said as he walked away, not bothering to turn back. Sasuke watched Naruto leave, his eyes turned down to the ground as he recalled something. XXXXXXXXX. It had been over a week since the Uchiha clan massacre had occurred, when Itachi Uchiha shocked the world and put his name in the bingo book, slaughtering his own clan, the police force of Konoha, and one of the founding clans of the village. Sasuke still couldn't shake off the memories of that night. They still played in his mind over and over and over again. As if wasn't enough that he had seen his parents dead at the feet of his brother, he had been forced to see their death over 500,000 times by his brother. He looked around his hospital room. It was a plain room with all the tools a doctor could need. He laid on a bed near the window, nobody staying close to him. The door suddenly slipped open. Sasuke turned his head and saw a doctor walk in. He had a smile on his face as he greeted Sasuke. Hello Sasuke, how are you feeling today? He asked. Sasuke looked at him with half-dead eyes and gave him no response. Still unreactive, I see. The doctor sighed as he looked at him. Well, you're gonna have eat and sleep and forget about everything else, Sasuke, for your own good, the doctor told him. Suddenly the door behind them opened again, and inside walked a tall, broad-shouldered man wearing a boar mask, dressed in all gray shinobi gear beneath a black cloak. Sasuke, Uchiha has visitors, he said. I was not notified by the Hokage about this, the doctor said with a bit of worry. There is no need for the Hokage to know about this, a voice answered behind the man. The doctor moved his head to get a good look at the man that spoke. Then inside the room walked an old man. He walked with a cane. He had black, shaggy hair, and his right eye was bandaged. Another prominent feature was an X-shaped scar on his chin. Ah, oh Lord Danzo, welcome. I didn't know it was you. The doctor stuttered, fright clear on his voice. It is fine, doctor. You can go now. I have something I have to discuss with young Sasuke here, Danzo told him. Oh, of course, my lord, at once, my lord. The doctor gave a small bow before he rushed out of the door. Sasuke looked at the newcomer with the same expression he had looked at the doctor with. He remained quiet. Danzo moved forward his crane, making a noise every time it hit the ground. He stopped right in front of Sasuke. The large man in a mask pulled a chair behind him and Danzo sat down, staying at eye level with Sasuke. How are you, Sasuke Uchiha? He asked. Sasuke gave him no reply, however. Tell me, Sasuke, did you awaken the Sharingan? His question seemed to spur something within Sasuke. His eyes widened and he began breathing a bit more heavily. Sharingan, He muttered to himself. Yes, go on. But he didn't. Instead, tears began to flow from his eyes. Danzo looked at him coldly, a look that showed no empathy. Sasuke, do you wish to live in the Uchiha clan compound again? He asked. Sasuke looked at him, his tears still visible. He shook his head.
No.
He muttered slowly. Danzo remained unmoved. Then how about the Hokage gives you a new home, in the heart of the village away from your old home? Would you like that? He nodded his head. Then the old man placed a hand on his shoulder. Do you want me to help you, Sasuke? He questioned, his voice noticeably softer. Sasuke didn't know what to do. He nodded his head slowly. Very well then, Sasuke. I will help you. From now on I will represent you and the Uchiha clan in all clan meetings here in Konoha, so that you won't have to be reminded of that night ever again. Do you want that? He asked. Sasuke once again nodded his head. Then the man behind came forward. He handed Sasuke a letter and a pen. Sign right here, Danzo said as he pointed to the paper. Sasuke did just that, and the old man gained a smile on his face. You can sleep now, Sasuke. I will handle the rest and you can rest, he told him before he turned around and made for the door. XXXXXXXXX. He didn't know why those memories were coming back to him just now. I haven't seen him ever since, Sasuke thought as he remembered that night. I am gonna have to talk to him when I get back home, he thought to himself. XXXXXXXX. The day had passed away quickly. Naruto had spent the rest of it helping Tazuna on the bridge. The bridge would be completed by the end of the week. He arrived back home with Tazuna that night and had sat down for a meal. He saw Sasuke arrive back to the house covered in mud and sweat. So how did it go? Kakashi questioned. I reached the top, Sasuke told them nonchalantly. He eyed Naruto for a little while before he went to take a shower. In just a teeny little bit, the bridge will be complete. It's thanks to you guys, Tazuna told them happily. Even so, don't let your guard down, Kakashi warned them. I've really wanted to ask you for a long time now, but why are you still here even though I lied about the mission? Tazuna asked them, wanting to know the reason. Naruto and Sakura remained quiet and looked at their sensei. To see what is right without doing it bespeaks an absence of courage. It's a teaching of the first Hokage, Kakashi told them. Inari was also seated on the table. Hearing Kakashi's words made him remember his own father figure. His hands slammed against the table. Why do you desperately work so hard until you get like that? There's no way you'd be a match for Gato's men even if you train. No matter what cool things you say or how much effort you make, the weak always lose out against the truly strong, he lashed out, looking at Naruto straight in the eyes. Naruto regarded the young boy with a curious gaze. I agree, the weak do lose to the strong. But I am not weak and I will not lose. Inari couldn't pinpoint whether it was the wording or the way he had said it in that cold voice, but the blonde truly looked and sounded like he didn't care about Gato and his men. Inari wanted to scream out at him, to tell him that he was simply a foreigner and that he didn't know anything about this land. But he couldn't. The words seemed stuck on his throat. He simply ran outside crying. Sensing that Sakura was about to open her mouth to speak, Naruto turned to look at her, giving her an icy glare that stopped her from saying anything at all. Next morning came and Team 7 prepared to leave for their final day. They made their way towards the bridge. When they arrived there, they were greeted with the sight of all the workers on the bridge completely collapsed on the ground, blood all around them. What is going on? What's happened? Tazuna and Sakura screamed in horror of the sight. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, they're coming, Kakashi said as mist began to cover the bridge. I knew he was still alive, making an appearance so soon. Kakashi thought to himself. Say, Kakashi-sensei, this is his hidden mist jutsu, right? Sakura asked with a bit of fright in her voice. Sorry to have kept you waiting, Kakashi. I see you've got those brats with you as always. Zabuza's voice rang out through the mist. He's still trembling. Poor thing, he said, focused on Sasuke. I'm trembling with excitement, Sasuke told him, before slashing across all of the water clones that surrounded them. Well, so he could defeat the water clones, eh? That brat's grown quite a bit. Zabuza chuckled to himself. This means a rival has emerged, Haku. So it seems, the masked girl said, but her eyes were fixated on Naruto. Well, it seems my prediction was right on the money, Kakashi said. Prediction? Tazuna asked, a bit confused. That little mask, Kakashi pointed out. Oh. So the elite shinobi of the hidden mist thing was a bald-faced lie, Tazuna said. No matter how you look at him, he's gotta be a comrade of Zabuza. Standing together with him and all, Kakashi told them. How dare he show up like that after what he did? Sakura screeched out. Kakashi took a bit of time to look at his blonde student. He didn't seem all too concerned with the situation. He did tell that masked ninja to kill Zabuza. Did he know from the very beginning? Kakashi questioned himself. Without wasting any more time, Haku's lithe form blurred as she charged towards Sasuke with incredible speed. Zabuza, observing the battle with anticipation, was momentarily taken aback as Sasuke skillfully reacted to Haku's swift onslaught. Haku expertly wielded her senbons, launching them at Sasuke with deadly accuracy. However, to Zabuza's surprise, Sasuke was able to predict and counter Haku's attacks with surprising ease. The clash of kunai against Sunbon echoed through the air, creating a symphony of metallic sounds. In a swift and fluid motion, Haku performed a single hand seal, drawing upon the water surrounding the bridge. With a mastery over her ice jutsu, she froze the water into razor-sharp senbons that surrounded Sasuke, creating a deadly barrage. The frozen needles whizzed through the air, aimed at Sasuke from all directions. Sasuke, displaying his own agility and reflexes, leaped into the air, narrowly avoiding the deadly onslaught. Gravity seemed to momentarily lose its grip on him as he somersaulted through the air, evading the icy projectiles. As he descended, Sasuke's eyes glowed ominously, indicating his heightened focus and battle instincts. Seizing the opportunity, Sasuke launched into a counterattack. Swift as a shadow, he closed the distance between himself and Haku, kunai flashing in the moonlight. Haku gracefully evaded some of the strikes, but Sasuke's speed and precision were proving to be a formidable challenge. In a surprising turn, Sasuke's leg arced through the air, connecting with Haku's face in a powerful kick. The impact resonated with a satisfying thud, causing Haku to stagger backward. Undeterred, she quickly regained her composure. Haku, gracefully rising from the impact of Sasuke's kick, glanced at him through her mask, determination burning in her eyes. Zabuza's voice cut through the cold air, urging her to activate her potent jutsu. With a nod of acknowledgement, Haku turned her attention back to Sasuke. I am sorry it has come to this. I promise you, I'll end it quickly, she apologized, sincerity evident in her voice. With a swift series of hand seals, a brilliant blue aura enveloped her, and the temperature on the bridge plummeted even further. Secret jutsu, demonic mirroring ice crystals, Haku exclaimed, her voice echoing across the frozen expanse. The water beneath her feet began to freeze rapidly, and ethereal mirrors materialized around Sasuke, reflecting the moonlight in an eerie dance. The mirrors formed an impenetrable barrier, trapping Sasuke within their icy embrace. As Kakashi, alarmed by the unfolding situation, sprinted towards Sasuke, Zabuza intercepted him with a menacing glare. If you want to interfere with this fight, then you will fight with me, Zabuza declared, his gaze unwavering. Inside the mirrors, Sasuke found himself surrounded by countless reflections of Haku, each ready to strike. Senbons materialized out of thin air, launching from all directions. The mirrors acted not only as a visual spectacle but also as a deadly battlefield. Sasuke, caught off guard by the sudden onslaught, attempted to evade, but the mirrors seemed to anticipate his every move. The Senbons relentlessly pelted Sasuke from all angles, leaving him with no choice but to shield his head with his hands. Kakashi's concern for his young student grew, but with Zabuza blocking his path, he could only watch as Sasuke struggled to withstand the onslaught of the demonic mirroring ice crystals. Sakura's frustration reached its peak as she witnessed Sasuke desperately fending off Haku's relentless assault within the mirrors. Unable to bear it any longer, she turned to Naruto with a mixture of anger and desperation. "Go, you idiot! Help Sasuke or he will get killed." Sakura's voice echoed across the battlefield. Naruto remained unfazed, his attention seemingly fixed on something else. Ignoring Sakura's plea, Naruto stood his ground, his expression unreadable. Sakura, feeling a surge of determination, drew a kunai from her pouch and rushed towards Sasuke, intending to lend him aid. However, before she could reach her target, Haku intercepted the kunai with swift precision. "Why won't you come to your teammate's defense?" Haku questioned, her voice echoing from within the mirrors. Naruto, still impassive, began to walk calmly towards the unfolding battle. Zabuza, noticing Naruto's approach, attempted to strike him down, but Kakashi intervened, blocking Zabuza's path. The two seasoned ninja engaged in a fierce struggle. From within the mirrors, Haku unleashed a barrage of senbons towards Naruto, expecting him to react or defend himself. To everyone's surprise, Naruto continued his steady advance, and to the amazement of onlookers, the senbons inexplicably bent around him, altering their trajectory and harmlessly dispersing into the air. As Haku's mirrors surrounded Naruto completely, the air crackled with tension. Senbons launched from every direction, seemingly piercing Naruto's body, only to fall harmlessly to the ground. Haku's eyes widened in horror. Maintaining his serious demeanor, Naruto calmly spoke. "So, did that old grandpa of yours make it out alive?" His words caught Haku off guard, and she found herself pondering how much Naruto truly knew about her. Did this boy know of my true identity from the very beginning? Haku wondered, her mind racing to understand the situation. Naruto, seemingly aware of her internal conflict, responded to her unspoken question. "This land has lost all hope of resistance. A girl walking alone in a forest is a death sentence." His words held a weight that went beyond the immediate battlefield. Haku, absorbing Naruto's explanation, then questioned him directly. "Why didn't you take me out back then?" The answer Naruto provided was unexpected, shedding light on his strategic approach. "If I took you out right then and there, the demon of the mist would have been enraged and come after me directly," Naruto explained, his gaze unwavering. "I let you live so you could come to the bridge." "But why? Why did we need to come to the bridge?" Haku asked. "Because it will be easier for me to take care of both of you here," Naruto said, leaving Haku puzzled at his words. "What?" was the last word she managed to say before a massive bolt of lightning was shot through her entire body. She managed to look down on the ground and saw a massive red circle. "What the? Where did that seal come from?" Zabuza roared at Naruto. "It came from the ground. I do believe that you saw that," Naruto responded. "Shut up, I know that. I am asking, when did you place it down? I was looking at you the entire time. There's no way you could have placed it there now." "True, there was no time to place a seal in the middle of battle. That's why I placed it back when I was building the bridge," Naruto responded, his face betraying no emotions. "What? Of course you wouldn't know. Well, I am the one that built this bridge, so I had placed seals in it just for this exact moment." "You make it seem like you knew we would come here?" "I did." "What? How?" Naruto gave him a smug smile. "I had an associate of mine monitor your movements for the entire week when you were out," he told him. "Sensei, would you be so kind as to end this?" Naruto asked, turning around and beginning to walk toward the masked shinobi that had fallen on the ground unconscious. "I intend to," Kakashi told him before charging towards Zabuza. Naruto keeled down on one knee and removed the mask of his opponent. He looked to see the face of the girl he met on the forest. He looked at her for a while. She was unconscious yet had a look of satisfaction on her face. He envied that calm and peaceful look she had. He was taken out of his thoughts when he saw Sakura run towards Sasuke, who had been injured but nowhere near anything dangerous. He had a few senbons impaled into him, but they had done little to no damage. He saw Sasuke look at him. He couldn't quite pinpoint the emotions of his look. He decided to pay no mind to it and turned his gaze back to Kakashi and Zabuza. He saw the fight, it was incredible. He could see that they were both injured and not fully recovered. Their fight had been far more destructive the first time around. Seeing the attacks being thrown at one another, Naruto could see that it was his sensei that had the upper hand. Zabuza's reactions had been slower, more sluggish. The fight lasted a good long while until his sensei finished the battle with a jutsu his team had never seen before. He had called it Chidori. Lighting had formed around his hand in the form of a blade and Kakashi had run it right through Zabuza. Naruto watched the demon of the mist bleed out like any other mortal men would. He watched him collapse on the ground, his pulse stopping, he was dead. Kakashi looked at his team. Sasuke was back on his feet again with Sakura standing next to him. She was red-faced and looking at him with hard eyes. Naruto was still on the ground holding the head of the masked ninja, though he had removed the mask. "Great work, Evrio," Kakashi was about to say but stopped. His team looked at him strangely. Naruto got up, it seemed like he was the only one that got it. He turned around. "It seems like we got company," Naruto said, making his remaining teammates turn and take a look themselves. They saw a massive mob of people standing in front of them armed with whatever they could have found. Swords, knives, sticks, etc. Well, I thought I would have to take Zabuza out of my payroll myself, but it seems that there will be no need. And also, where is that wench? I did promise her to some of my companions here." The short man in front of the mob began talking. He spotted Naruto holding on to her. "Ah, there she is. Hey boy, why don't you bring her here, and I might just spare your life." The short man laughed. Naruto shook his head a little. Such arrogance. For one so weak, truly disgusting. He placed the girl on the floor gently and got up. "Sensei." Kakashi turned his attention to his student. "What is it?" "I'll take care of this, you don't have to worry." Naruto moved right in front of the mob. "What's this, we have a volunteer for death?" Gato said as loud as he could. "I have a question for you," Naruto said calmly. "And what could it be?" "What do you value most, your life or your money?" Naruto asked. "What kind of question is that?" "But if I had to choose, then money." "Money gets you everything in life," Gato shouted back. "Well then I guess I'll take your life," Naruto said as he went through hand seals. Gato's man wasted no time of their own and charged at him. But they were cut short when the ground beneath them opened and they all fell into a deep pit below. The pit was made of solid concrete. Naruto walked above them. He saw the men down below, they were all shouting and pushing against one another. The pit was narrow. "This pit was especially made for you. This pit is going to be your hell and grave. And as for me, I will be your judge, jury, and executioner," Naruto said. Gato looked up at the boy and felt true fear for the first time in his life. He saw the massive stones that stood above the pit ready to fall down and crush them all to death. Please take me out of here. I'll give you anything you want. Just don't kill me," Gato screamed. His screaming was followed by his thugs as well, but Naruto didn't hear them. He watched as a massive stone began to fall on the pit. The stone was massive and fit the pit perfectly, so it took its time going down the deep hole. Naruto heard the screaming of people die out but said nothing. He launched 2 more rocks into the pit before he closed the bridge back. He had worked quite a lot on this trap of his. He looked forward and saw that the mist was going away. Yamato should have taken the treasure of Gato by now. All that remains now is to head back home, he thought to himself. He had sent Yamato to go to Gato's base after he left, round up any thug that was left and steal the treasure to take back. He wasn't about to let all of that money Gato had gathered go to waste. Yamato would get a portion and leave it at the town square of the Land of Waves, while taking the rest for himself. It was just about then that a quick storm of memories came flooding back to him. It was a shadow clone that he had left back at Tezuna's home. It seemed he was right to believe that Gato would send assassins to Tezuna's family. He walked back to his team. Kakashi was looking at him with a nonchalant face, but deep down he was worried about Naruto's actions and the fact that he wasn't bothered at all about all the deaths he caused. Sure, he knew that this was a shinobi job, but he still expected Naruto to be somewhat moved by it. Sakura had a horrified, disgusted look on her face and was ready to vomit. She wanted to scream at Naruto on how he could be such a terrible human being, but for some reason, she suddenly didn't have the courage to even speak to the blonde, let alone scream at him. Sasuke had an angry look on his face. He looked at Naruto with his black eyes, which turned into red with 2 tomo in each of them. His anger was so great that he didn't even notice the change he had on vision. Naruto opened his mouth to speak, but was beaten to it by Sasuke. "Hey Naruto," hearing his name being called made the blonde turn and look at the last Uchiha. "What is it? As much as I hate to say it, you're now my rival, so don't get comfortable while you're ahead. I will surpass you," Sasuke told him, an unusual determined look on his face. Naruto smiled but said nothing. Sakura stared at Sasuke dumbfounded. Sure, Naruto did something impressive, but Sasuke was the best. Why was he talking as if Naruto was stronger than him? Nobody can defeat Sasuke, right? Right? Sakura repeated on her head, each time more angrily. Kakashi had a smile. I really wondered how Sasuke was going to take this new awakening of Naruto. Must say the amount of progress he's made in such a little time is remarkable, he thought to himself. Well, you saw it, the threats to your life are over. I think it's about time that we head back home, Kakashi explained to him. Tezuna had tears on his eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He cried on his knees. Thank you to all of you. You are all welcomed here any time, he said in a shaky voice. All the members of Team 7 had a smile on their faces as they left the bridge in the direction of Konoha. XXXXXXXX. After a day and a half of walking, Team 7 found themselves in front of the massive gates of Konoha. They all entered through the gates with their heads held up high. They were greeted by Izumo and Kotetsu. The two were on guard duty that day. They greeted Kakashi with the respect he deserved, congratulating him on a mission well done. Their shinobi eyes quickly landed on the woman being carried by Naruto. Who's that? Izumo asked, having never seen the girl before. She's with me, Naruto replied shortly, not giving a concrete answer. Clearly not getting the memo, Izumo continued. And who is she? She is not from the village. I said she is with me. That's all that you need to know. Do you understand? Naruto said, angered by the questions. Izumo looked at Kakashi and then back at Naruto. He shrugged and bid them well. Well, now it's time to report to the Hokage. Naruto, you are excused, Kakashi said. The blonde nodded and walked away, carrying the girl in his hands, bridal style. Kakashi's other students looked at him strangely but said nothing. Kakashi's mind went back to the conversation he had with Naruto. He wanted to question Naruto why he was bringing that girl with them. He had told him that she was like him and thus deserved a better life. Kakashi instantly understood Naruto's meaning. He knew that his student would still have to deal with her once she woke up again, since Naruto had essentially kidnapped her, but that wasn't his problem. He let Naruto do what he wanted. After a little while of walking, Naruto had asked him if he could be allowed not to report to the Hokage. He wanted to go home as soon as possible so that he might not deal with Danzo Shimura. Kakashi couldn't blame the kid. He knew that if Danzo Shimura knew that a girl from a vanished clan had just walked inside the village, he would not stop until he had her put through a clan reproduction program. He shivered at the very thought. Back with Naruto, he finally reached at the massive doors of the Namake's mansion. He felt the familiar chakra of Yamato arriving from behind him. He had felt Yamato keep pace with his team and conceal his presence at the same time. Glad you made it back safely, Yamato exclaimed. Thank you. Did you complete the task I gave you? Naruto asked. He was 99% sure that Yamato had done it, but still asked anyway. Yes, I got Gato's entire wealth with me. I left a small portion in the Land of Waves, while the rest is right here, Yamato said, taking out a scroll. Keep it for now, Naruto said, before the massive gates of the house opened for them. They moved inside while a few other Narutos greeted them. Shadow clones, but how? You were away for thousands of kilometers. How did you manage to keep them? Yamato asked disbelievingly. These are not random shadow clones. These are special clones as they are made of 60% of my chakra. You see, I simply sacrificed 60% of my chakra to create a shadow clone. Granted, it is a lot, but I can afford it due to my immense chakra pool, and I also can regather it in about half a day. Naruto explained as he handed Haku to one of the clones. Take her to one of the bigger chambers and make sure to leave someone there with her. I used the instant chakra draining seal on her so she'll be extremely weak when she wakes up. The clone did as commanded and took Haku away. Naruto turned to the other one. Anything new? Yes, the blacksmith Otsu arrived back in the village yesterday. He came to see you, but I told him that I was only a clone. He said he'll come once you return, the clone reported. I see, that's good. Anything else? Yeah, we spotted 5 Umbu Black Ops surveying the house, and they were not from the Umbu of the Hokage. Most likely of Danzo. Naruto and Yamato exchanged glances with one another. Did they try to enter the house or anything? Yamato asked. No, they didn't, but they came here for 3 nights in a row. They simply take positions around the house, look for anyone to come or go, but they don't do anything. So that old man is trying to intimidate me. He will be an annoying one to deal with for sure, Naruto said. XXXXXXXX. Kakashi gave the report of the mission to the Hokage. He was flanked by both his students. They all had a serious look on their face. After all, they were addressing the Hokage, but their gaze were fixated on the man that stood beside the Hokage, a man with a bandage that covered one of his eyes. Both Kakashi and Sasuke knew the old man. It was Danzo Shimura. Kakashi didn't say anything outside his mission, but inwardly cursed his luck that Danzo had to be there just in the worst moment. He couldn't lie to the Hokage, so he did tell of Haku. After he finished the report, Danzo decided to start talking. You have given us quite an impressive description, Kakashi. So tell me, where is the hero Naruto Uzumaki? Danzo said in an emotionless tone that made Kakashi wonder if he was being serious or simply mocking his student. He went back home. I allowed him to get some rest. I believe he more than deserves it, Kakashi said. Well said, a hero deserves rest, Danzo said. And this time Kakashi knew that he was being sarcastic. Nevertheless, I wonder why Naruto Uzumaki decided to not inform us personally of bringing another person inside the village, without the order of the Hokage. Danzo continued. The person he brought in was injured and unconscious. He didn't have that much time. He did the right thing, Sasuke said. He too was wondering why he was defending his blonde teammate. He usually didn't say anything during these meetings, yet here he was. So he did what he did out of empathy. Danzo seemed to think a moment. Good job defending your teammate Sasuke Uchiha. You truly take after your brother Itachi, Danzo said. If he was trying to get a reaction out of Sasuke, then he had succeeded. Sasuke had clenched his teeth and his fists were tightened. His Sharingan spun on his eyes and glared at Danzo. Never mention that guy's name again, old man, Sasuke growled out. Kakashi placed a hand on his shoulder, trying to calm him down. Danzo analyzed the young Uchiha. He sighed, forget what I said. Itachi would have never lost control of his emotions like that, Danzo said as he got up. Well, I shall take my leave, and Hiruzen, I would definitely consider my offer if I were you, he said at the end as he made for the door. Sasuke looked at him walk away, and all he could think was of Naruto asking him about Danzo. It seemed like he and Naruto had a common enemy in the elder. Hiruzen sighed. Do excuse us for that interruption. Well done on your mission, Team 7. Danzo was walking towards the door of the Hokage mansion. He had quite a lot on his mind. Hiruzen, that damned fool, told the boy of his heritage. This could be troublesome. Well, in any case, with the upcoming Chunin exams, I can make the most out of this losing situation Hiruzen has brought upon us. Chapter 5. Naruto pushed open the old wooden door with a soft creak. The room was quiet, touched only by the dim orange light of late afternoon leaking through the tall windows of the Namake's mansion. Dust motes floated lazily in the golden air. He stepped inside and his eyes found her immediately. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, her back straight, her hands folded in her lap. Her long black hair cascaded down one side of her face, hiding her expression. She didn't flinch, didn't speak, didn't look at him. She just stared at the wall across from her as if he wasn't there. Naruto didn't say anything at first. He shut the door gently behind him, then dragged a wooden chair across the floor and set it down in front of her. The screech of the legs echoed briefly. He sat. She didn't react at all. He looked at her, long and quiet. His blue eyes had lost that spark they once had. They didn't shine anymore. They just watched. "You're awake," he said plainly. His voice was calm, not warm, just calm. Still she gave no response. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees, his eyes never leaving her face. "It's been a few days. I thought you'd wake up sooner." Haku blinked once but didn't speak. "You probably remember the fight," Naruto continued, eyes steady. "You were fast, strong. You defeated Sasuke. That's something to be proud of." She stayed silent, her face unreadable behind the veil of black strands. "I brought you here. This mansion belonged to my father. Guess that makes it mine now." He paused. "I figured you wouldn't like a cell." Still nothing. The silence between them was heavy. He sighed through his nose. The chair creaked softly as he leaned back. "You're not a prisoner, if that's what you're wondering. There are no chains. No guards. Just you. And the choice to leave or stay." Again she didn't react, no movement at all. "I'm not looking for a friend, or forgiveness, or even thanks," Naruto said, his voice low. "I just thought, I don't know, maybe you'd want a place where you didn't have to die for someone else's dream." He stood up then, slow and tired. His hand hovered near the chair for a moment before letting go. "I'll leave you alone." He turned toward the door, hand already on the knob when her voice soft, almost too soft, cut through the quiet. "Why?" He stopped but didn't turn. "Why did you take me here?" she asked again. Her voice was calm, but there was something inside it, confusion, maybe, or pain. He couldn't tell. He looked over his shoulder just enough to see her face. "Because I think we're alike," he said. "You said so yourself." She looked at him now fully. Her eyes were tired, dark, distant. But there was something else too, something he couldn't name. She didn't respond. He waited just for a second. Then he left. The door closed behind him with a soft click, and Haku was left alone in the quiet. Her hands clenched slightly in her lap. She turned her face toward the window. The light was fading now. And she thought, XXXXXXXX. Pain. Pain was the only emotion that Sasuke Uchiha was feeling right now. Everywhere he looked he saw nothing but destruction. The compound hadn't even been cleaned at all. After the massacre, the Umbu had simply collected the dead bodies and took whatever they could. They hadn't bothered at least to try and fix some of the mess. They had simply put tape all around it and left. It made him angry to see the legacy of his clan tarnished in such a manner. And worst of it, he had never even come to see it after it had happened. For some reasons, Naruto's words had gotten to him. He really didn't know what he wanted apart from the fact that he wanted to kill his brother. He continued walking around for a while. There was only silence, as if the place was haunted. In his eyes it really was. He continued walking until he reached in front of a massive house. The door was half destroyed, a large cut splitting it in half. With caution he entered inside, and was greeted with a rather large living room. There was 3 sofas, a table, and a few other things. "I'm home," he said to no one in particular. He got no reply either. He decided to check the rooms one by one until he stopped before the door of a certain room. It was the room where his father used to come to meditate. It was also the room where he met his end. It was in this room that he found their bodies. He opened the door and entered slowly. He looked around the room and saw that it was empty, but he could still make out the Sharingan staring back at him. His brother's eyes still haunted him to this day. But he pushed back his fears. He looked around and he could still remember that night as if it was yesterday. A single tear fell from his eye, but he decided to not linger around there for longer. He walked off. After quite a while of walking, he found himself in front of the Uchiha cemetery. It was full, and it wasn't that far away from the clan compound. Even in death, they separated my clan from the village, he thought bitterly. He walked towards the middle of the cemetery, to the two graves he wanted to see. Mom, Dad. Sorry I hadn't visited in so long, he said as he sat down beside the graves. He hadn't visited them ever since he had become part of Team 7. I'm doing good. I have become a ninja as well. I hope you're proud of me. He took a long pause to look up at the sky. The good weather had passed and rain seemed close. He looked down. Our family was taken from us. We weren't allowed to be happy. But I promise you both I will make sure the Uchiha return once again, and this time no one will be able to take us apart. That's a promise. XXXXXXXX. The Hyuga clan leader Hayashi was not a man that could be pleased easily, and seeing his daughter train was clearly not an amusing sight. His judging eyes watched on as his eldest daughter struggled against her instructor. She shouldn't be struggling, not against this opponent. He heard some of the clan elders whisper among themselves. He and his other daughter Hanabi had both taken a sitting position at the side of the training room and both watched the fight. Hinata, with the use of her Byakugan, managed to follow all attacks thrown at her. Some she didn't manage to dodge, she blocked with her hands, but she couldn't seem to use one of her own attacks. And her instructor was definitely not making things easy for her. He was a tall black-haired man with deep blue eyes. He wore simple white clothes. He didn't stop his offensive. He was angered a bit every time the young girl stopped or dodged his attacks, but was still confident on his victory. Hinata spotted a small boy dressed in white make his way to her father. He whispered something on Lord Hayashi's ear, and her father got up. Hanabi followed suit. They both left the practicing dojo. Hinata felt betrayed by her father's actions. He didn't even wait to see her finish her fight. She was so lost on thought that she didn't even see the massive punch that landed right on her neck. The impact made her collapse into the ground. She was barely holding onto consciousness. A few tears fell down her eyes as she witnessed that none that were present in the dojo lifted a finger to try and help her. Mom, why did you have to die? She questioned herself as her collapsed form on the ground drifted off to unconsciousness. She woke up a few hours later in her bedchamber. She looked at the window and saw that it was night. She only wondered how much she had been asleep for. The door of her bedchamber opened and a maiden entered the room. She had a slender build with brown hairs and pale white eyes. She was Hinata's favorite maiden, as she had been her mother's before her. Thank God you are awake, Lady Hinata. I was afraid that you were seriously injured, the woman told her. I am okay, Ohama. Hinata thanked her for her concern. Say, how long was I asleep for? She asked politely. 6 hours. It seems like that proctor of yours hit a little too hard, she answered with disgust in her mouth. I see. Did my dad know of my defeat? Hinata asked, deep inside hoping that he didn't. Ohama's eyes softened as she looked at her. No, Lord Hayashi has been on an important meeting today. He didn't know of your injury. I see. Hinata sounded almost relieved. She heard some noise from outside. What's going on outside? Hinata asked with a very polite tone. Your cousin Niji is back from his mission and is now practicing in the yard, she answered him. Oh, I see, Hinata replied as she got up. Ohama shouted for her to stop moving, but Hinata didn't listen. She moved the door aside and the view of the yard opened up to her. She always had liked the yard. It was peaceful and reminded her of her mother. A peaceful and kind woman that always wanted to help others even to her own peril. Her eyes landed on her cousin that was training relentlessly in the yard. Niji was a prodigy of the clan, nobody doubted that. Not even the main branch elders that usually looked down on the side branch of the clan. She had always tried to get closer to her cousin, but he always made sure to keep his distance. Not just from her but from everyone in general. Hinata knew that he hated her for that incident that happened years ago. Niji, she called out to him. Niji stopped his training session and tilted his head towards Hinata. His look didn't hold any kind of emotions towards her. What do you want, Hinata? That is Lady Hinata to you, Ohama told him as she went by Hinata's side. Lady Hinata, Niji scowled as he corrected himself. Ohama, it is fine, Hinata told her. She didn't care all that much about how her cousin referred to her. I see that you are back from your mission. We were worried about you. You were gone for an entire month, she told him. A long mission to the land of iron, my lady, Niji explained in a formal tone. I understand. Say, Niji, it's been a long time since we trained together. So can we train together? It took her entire courage to say that entire sentence together. Absolutely not. My lady, you have just recovered after 6 hours. You shouldn't even be walking right now, Ohama instantly protested. Unfortunately, my lady, I fear I cannot. Lord Hayashi has invited me to a meeting with the clan elders. It would be in bad taste for me to refuse him, Niji explained and walked away, not even bowing. That boy's head has been filled too much with that nonsense of him being prodigy. He has lost all respect and manners, Ohama said as they looked at him walk away. Why would the clan elders want to speak with Niji, Hinata thought to herself. Ohama, you can leave me, Hinata said, and her maiden left her alone. After waiting to see that she had left, Hinata walked away. She still struggled to walk, but slowly she made her way towards the end of the clan compound. She scanned the door with her Byakugan, but couldn't see through to inside the room. So they have activated the seals. The Hyuga were aware of their own dojutsu, so their compound was made with seals that would allow them to stop the visual prowess of the Byakugan. But the seals were designed specifically for the clan by only those that they trusted. Hinata smiled a little. She hadn't tried to spy on her father in quite a few years. She used to do it when she was a small girl. This was her home and she knew it like the back of her hand. She moved to the end of the corridor and pushed 3 heavy blocks from the wall that opened up a small passageway. She went through it, closing the wall behind her once again. She continued to walk for a little while before she ended at the end of the passageway. She looked down and saw that she was on top of the room where her father and his advisors were currently on. Welcome, Niji, one of the older advisors of the clan greeted the young prodigy. Niji took a seating position without saying anything. Can I know why I have been summoned? Lord Hayashi, Niji spoke up. His tone was cold but respectful. You have been called here to discuss about the upcoming Chunin exams which you will be participating in, Hayashi replied to him. What do I need to do? If you don't know, the heir of the clan of Lady Hinata will also be participating in the tournament. Your job will be to ensure that she makes it through without any issues and unharmed. Is that clear? One of the Eder Hyuga seized the initiative and spoke. Niji saw a look of irritation pass Hayashi's face. He too was annoyed. These elders and their weakness. I understand. I will make sure she is unharmed. But I have a question, Niji asked. What is it? If the princess and I were to be drawn against one another in battle, what would I have to do? Well, then you would have to throw the dash. A clan elder began to speak but was interrupted by Hayashi. Then you will do your best. The one that passes will represent the clan. There's nothing to it, Haishir said as he got up. He gave a glare to the clan elder that he'd interrupted and left the room. The room was silenced for a few minutes. He's gone now, Niji, hear us out. When it comes your turn to fight against Hinata, we want you to make sure to completely defeat and humiliate Hinata. Niji was completely shocked by the change in attitude. What? Why? Can't you tell? She is weak. A pathetic girl that was wrongfully born in the Hyuga family. She doesn't deserve to be clan heir, and if she is defeated, Lord Hayashi will understand that as well, and will have her removed. One of the old Gezers smiled at him. And how do you know that I will fight her? You don't have to worry about that. We have connections to a powerful man here in the village. His name is Danzo Shimura, if you must know. I understand. Anything else? No, you can leave. Niji got up, bowed a little, and left the room as well. He couldn't hear the laughter of the clan elder behind him. This is good. Phase 1 of the restoration is complete. In a year, we should have complete control over the clan. Hayashi will be taken care of, and the Hyuga clan can finally take their place as the true rulers of Konoha. If Niji wasn't able to hear their talk, Hinata surely did. She was still listening in and was brought to tears. but she didn't make a single sound, afraid that she might get caught. What will they do to Dad and me and Hanabi, she thought to herself. She rushed down the way she came from towards the exit. XXXXXXXX. Naruto looked around the shop. It wasn't a big shop. Its walls were low, but he didn't care much about it. He entered the shop and could instantly feel the heat. He looked around and saw a couple of workers. They were all working. Some were melting metal, some were working it. One of the men saw him and instantly bowed his head. They must be his workers, Naruto thought to himself. Naruto looked at a middle-aged man in ragged clothes approach him. It was Otsu. "It is good to see you after so long, my lord," Otsu greeted him. "It is good to see you too, Otsu," Naruto responded. "I wanted to know of the progress," Naruto told him. "Yes, of course, please come this way." Otsu led him to another room. After entering, Naruto saw the room was most likely the room where Otsu kept the weapons he made. There were swords, spears, kunais, shurikens, javelins, and many other weapons. But he ignored all that once he laid eyes on the blade before him. It was magnificent. The blade was a dark gray in color, almost appearing black, and featuring a rippled pattern on the blade. Unfortunately, it still had no handle, so he couldn't take it in his hand. "When will it be ready?" "The work has been going very well. I believe it should be finished this week," Otsu told him. "I see, very well. I am in no hurry either way, so you don't have to worry about it. I want you to take care of every little detail. I want the sword to be as perfect as it can be," Naruto told him. "I understand, my lord. I'll leave you to your work," Naruto said before he made for the door. XXXXXXXX. Kakashi stood atop a nearby tree. His single visible eye trained on the bustling training ground below. His gaze lingered on the trio of young ninja, his students, as they honed their skills under the late afternoon sun. Naruto, with his unruly blonde hair and determined expression, caught Kakashi's attention first. The boy had grown remarkably since their early days together, surprising even Kakashi with his progress. Yet, what struck him most was Naruto's newfound quietude, a stark contrast to the boisterous demeanor he had once displayed. It was a change that spoke volumes about Naruto's inner growth and determination. Sasuke, on the other hand, moved with a fluid grace that spoke of years of training and dedication. Kakashi couldn't deny the improvement in his skills, but there was something else beneath the surface, a subtle sense of envy that occasionally flickered in Sasuke's eyes when he glanced at Naruto. And then there was Sakura, her pink hair a vibrant contrast to the earthy tones of the training ground. Despite her efforts, Kakashi couldn't shake the feeling that she hadn't grown even a fraction of what her male counterparts had. He couldn't help but attribute it to her weak mentality, her single-minded desire to win Sasuke's affections overshadowing her commitment to her training. As he watched them spar and train, Kakashi couldn't help but wonder if they would be ready for the upcoming Chunin exams. The challenges they would face would test not only their skills but also their resolve and teamwork. And as their sensei, Kakashi couldn't afford to let them falter. Kakashi's mind buzzed with a new plan as he descended gracefully from the tree, landing in front of his attentive team. His presence drew their focus, and he could sense the anticipation radiating from them. "Sakura," he addressed her first, his tone firm yet gentle. "I have a new training regimen in mind for you." With a swift hand sign, he conjured a perfect duplicate of himself, standing beside him. "Train with my clone. I'll be observing from afar." Sakura's initial reaction was a mixture of surprise and frustration, evident in the slight downturn of her lips. Deep down, she harbored a childish resentment at being separated from Sasuke, but she complied nonetheless, nodding her understanding before moving to join the clone. Turning his attention to Naruto and Sasuke, Kakashi's eye crinkled in amusement as he observed their reactions. "Now, for the two of you," he began, a hint of mischief dancing in his voice. "I want to assess your current level, so we'll have a little spar." Naruto's lips twitched in a subtle smile, his excitement bubbling beneath the surface. This was the chance he had been waiting for, a chance to prove himself once again. Yet, he remained outwardly calm, his expression betraying none of his inner turmoil. Sasuke mirrored Naruto's calm demeanor, though inwardly, his heart raced with anticipation. A spar with Naruto was always a thrilling challenge, one he relished despite himself. With a flourish, Kakashi produced a scroll from his pouch, unfurling it to reveal a massive blue barrier. This barrier will prevent any damage to the surrounding area, he explained, gesturing for them to take their positions within its confines. Naruto and Sasuke moved with practiced precision, each assuming their stance with a sense of readiness. The air crackled with tension as they locked eyes, their determination mirrored in each other's gaze. And as Kakashi stepped back to observe, he couldn't help but feel a swell of pride in his talented students, ready to witness their growth firsthand. Naruto and Sasuke faced each other with a palpable tension that crackled in the air around them. Their eyes locked in a fierce gaze, each determined to prove their strength in this sparring match. Naruto's muscles tensed as he made the first move, a burst of speed propelling him forward towards Sasuke. With a sharp exhale, Naruto unleashed a flurry of strikes, his fists a blur as they connected with Sasuke's defenses. Sasuke, agile as ever, managed to evade most of the blows, but the force of Naruto's attacks was undeniable. He found himself being pushed back, his footing becoming less sure with each passing moment. It quickly became evident that Naruto held the upper hand in taijutsu. His movements were fluid and precise, his strikes carrying a raw power that Sasuke struggled to match. Despite his best efforts, Sasuke found himself on the defensive, desperately trying to find an opening to turn the tide. Sensing Sasuke's retreat, Naruto pressed his advantage, relentless in his pursuit. But Sasuke was not one to be easily defeated. As he distanced himself from Naruto, his mind raced with strategies to regain control of the fight. With swift hand signs, he channeled his chakra into a concentrated ball of fire, the flames roaring to life in his palm. With a fierce cry, Sasuke released the fireball towards Naruto, the searing heat cutting through the air with deadly intent. Naruto's eyes widened as he registered the incoming attack, his instincts kicking into overdrive. Without hesitation, he summoned a legion of shadow clones to shield himself from the blazing inferno. The fireball collided with the mass of clones, the impact sending shockwaves rippling through the surrounding area. Heat and smoke billowed outward, obscuring the battlefield from view. For a moment, everything was engulfed in chaos. But as the smoke began to dissipate, the figures of Naruto and Sasuke emerged, standing tall amidst the aftermath of their clash. Beads of sweat glistened on their brows, their chests rising and falling with exertion. Yet, despite the intensity of their spar, grins spread across their faces, a silent acknowledgement of each other's strength and determination. Meanwhile, Kakashi watched from a distance, his single Sharingan eye focused intently on the scene unfolding before him. His lips quirked into a small smile as he observed the dynamic between his former students. He was relieved that he had taken the precaution of erecting a protective barrier around the training area, ensuring that their fierce battle wouldn't inadvertently harm anyone nearby. As their battle intensified, Sasuke gradually gained the upper hand, his movements becoming more calculated and precise with each passing moment. Naruto, feeling the tide turning against him, inwardly cursed his luck. He knew he needed to change the course of the battle if he wanted to stand a chance against Sasuke's relentless assault. With a swift hand signal, Naruto summoned a legion of shadow clones to even the odds. Sasuke remained calm, his expression betraying none of the surprise he felt at facing such overwhelming numbers. Activating his Sharingan, two tomos swirling in each eye, Sasuke scanned the battlefield, searching for the original Naruto amidst the sea of clones. To his astonishment, Sasuke spotted Naruto amidst the clones, his brow furrowing in disbelief as he witnessed Naruto preparing a new jutsu. Even Kakashi, watching the battle unfold from a distance, was taken aback by Naruto's actions. He couldn't help but think to himself, "But that's..." A grin spread across Naruto's face as he focused his chakra, proud of his newfound skill. His mind flashed back to the moment he stumbled upon his father's notebook, filled with forbidden jutsu. Rasengan? Naruto muttered, his voice devoid of warmth, sending a shiver down Sasuke's spine. Damn it! Naruto cursed inwardly, his heart racing with adrenaline-fueled apprehension. The Rasengan is not complete and it's not stable enough as of yet. I only have one shot with this. Better make it count. With every step forward, his determination burned brighter, a resolve to face whatever came his way head-on. Don't get cocky, as Sasuke's voice pierced the air with a warning. Naruto braced himself for the incoming onslaught. Sasuke unleashed his most powerful fireball jutsu, a searing inferno hurtling towards Naruto with unstoppable force. With determination etched into every line of his face, Naruto pressed forward, his resolve unwavering. The moment of impact was deafening, a blinding flash of white light engulfing everything in its path. The clash between the Rasengan and the fireball jutsu sent shockwaves rippling through the air. In the midst of the blinding light, Naruto's vision blurred, and strange images began to materialize before him. First, he saw an entire village engulfed in flames, its buildings reduced to rubble, with a mysterious figure cloaked in black standing amidst the devastation. The scene sent a chill down Naruto's spine, a sense of foreboding washing over him. Next, his vision shifted to an old man with a long gray beard, his eyes closed in deep meditation. Then, Naruto's gaze was drawn to 5 rings wreathed in flames, each one pulsating with an otherworldly energy. As the images continued to flicker before him, Naruto's vision expanded to reveal a vast ocean stretching out into the horizon, its waters shimmering in the sunlight. Finally, Naruto's eyes widened in astonishment as he beheld a golden eye belonging to a creature unlike any he had ever seen. Kakashi looked on at the devastation that had happened before him. He couldn't really believe it. The amount of power his students possessed was far greater than he had imagined. They are progressing very fast. They really are like us. Obito, he thought to himself. The dust was finally settling and he could make out their figures. Sasuke was still standing up. He did have cuts and bruises on him, but it didn't seem anything major. As Kakashi's eyes wandered to Naruto, his expression shifted subtly. Down on the ground, Naruto struggled to rise amidst a sea of injuries, his determination undiminished despite the odds stacked against him. It was then that Kakashi's gaze sharpened, a glimmer of something stirring within him. Just as Kakashi's thoughts began to settle, a voice echoed in Naruto's mind, seemingly from nowhere. You want to win, don't you? The voice questioned, its tone cryptic yet compelling. Fine then, just this once. I will unleash your potential, show you the man you are meant to become. You, human, are blessed to be of the Uzumaki house. As the voice faded into the recesses of Naruto's consciousness, a surge of crimson energy enveloped him, suffusing him with an otherworldly power. In an instant, Naruto felt a transformation taking place within him, his injuries regenerating and his senses sharpening to a razor's edge. A sense of strength, speed, and clarity washed over him, leaving him with a newfound confidence. Is that the fox? Kakashi thought to himself as he inadvertently revealed his Sharingan. Naruto stood still for a moment. He looked at his form for a quick second before he cracked his neck. Damn it, you can still stand after that. You really are a monster, Naruto, Sasuke said, a grin present on his face. Naruto simply stared at him, didn't say a word. In a single split second that not even Kakashi with his Sharingan could see, Naruto vanished before Sasuke simply hit the ground. He wasn't able to see or hear anything. He simply fell unconscious. It took a moment for Kakashi to comprehend the situation, and another to actually find Naruto. His eyes widened when he saw him standing right next to him. How did you? He couldn't complete the sentence. This seems to be my potential, Naruto replied to him. He hasn't lost himself? Kakashi questioned himself. What happened to Sasuke? I punched him unconscious. Don't worry, I held back, he'll wake up soon, Naruto said as he turned to face Kakashi. And Kakashi was hit with another surprise. Naruto's eyes were no longer ocean blue, they were now a golden color with a black line vertically. "What happened to your eyes?" Kakashi questioned. He didn't get an answer, however, as Naruto went down on one knee holding his stomach and panting hard, the otherworldly aura vanishing from him. "Naruto!" Kakashi shouted and rushed to help his student. Naruto didn't even hear him. His eyes were focused on the massive cage that was standing in front of him. He could make out two massive red eyes. "So that's the Nine Tails," Naruto said, more to himself than the fox. "I can already read your mind, human. That power you felt a moment ago has made you believe you can take on even me. Isn't that right?" The Nine Tails spoke slowly, its voice grumpy. Naruto stared at the Nine Tails with no emotion, his expression unreadable. The silence between them stretched on, thick and oppressive. The Nine Tails growled, breaking the silence. "I don't like being left unanswered." Naruto continued to stay silent, his eyes locked on the beast's massive, glowing red ones. After what felt like an eternity, he finally spoke. "What was the power that I had possessed just now?" The Nine Tails grunted, a sound of irritation and reluctant compliance. "That was your potential being released all at once." Naruto's gaze remained steady. "How was I able to release my potential?" A deep, rumbling laugh echoed through the cage. "Now, wouldn't you like to know? Well, I'm not in the mood." Naruto narrowed his eyes at the Nine Tails, his expression hardening. The fox only laughed louder, the sound reverberating through the chamber. "Do you intend to frighten me, human? If so, you're failing." "I have no business with you," Naruto replied coldly. "If you leave me alone, I will leave you alone. But stand in my way, and I will crush you." The Nine Tails' laughter grew even louder, a manic, wild sound. "You really are going to be a harbinger of destruction." Naruto turned and began to walk away, his mind set. As he left, the Nine Tails' laughter echoed in his ears. Naruto snapped back to the real world, a dull pain throbbing in his body as dizziness washed over him. He shrugged it off, finding himself down on one knee. Kakashi was there in an instant, helping him to his feet. "Naruto," Kakashi's voice was calm but firm. "What just happened? What was that power?" Naruto took a deep breath, steadying himself. "It was just a temporary power-up. I don't really know much about it," he said, keeping his voice steady despite the uncertainty gnawing at him. Kakashi looked at him strangely, his single visible eye scrutinizing Naruto's expression. After a moment of silence, Kakashi simply nodded, choosing not to press further. "Don't tell the third Hokage about this spar," Naruto continued, his tone serious. "I don't want the old man to be worried about me, especially with the Chunin exams coming up and the trade and traffic of people in the village increasing more and more." Kakashi nodded again. "Don't worry about it." Naruto glanced around at the destruction their spar had caused. The training ground was a mess, scorched earth and shattered trees marking the intensity of their battle. His gaze fell on a clone of Kakashi, who was helping a bruised and battered Sasuke to his feet. A flicker of guilt passed through Naruto for hurting his teammate, but it was quickly washed away by the pride of his victory. Sasuke looked at Naruto with a flicker of jealousy in his eyes. For a moment, his Sharingan activated. The intensity and hate in Sasuke's gaze took Kakashi aback, prompting his clone to instantly place a calming hand on Sasuke's shoulder. Naruto, on the other hand, remained stoic, not even flinching. The tense moment was abruptly broken by the voice of Sakura arriving with another of Kakashi's clones. She was oblivious to the atmosphere and whined about the harsh training she had endured throughout the day. "Kakashi-sensei, your clone was relentless. I feel like I've been training forever," she complained, her voice annoying her two other teammates. Kakashi seized the opportunity to defuse the situation. "All right, everyone, let's take a break. How about we head to the market?" Sakura's eyes lit up with excitement. "Really? That sounds great," she exclaimed, her earlier frustration forgotten. Naruto gave Kakashi a strange look, his suspicion evident, but he didn't argue. Sasuke simply grunted, the anger in his eyes seemingly gone, replaced by a sullen acceptance. The team headed towards the market area of the village, the tension easing with each step they took away from the training ground. As they walked, Kakashi couldn't help but glance at his students, feeling a mix of pride and concern. After a bit of walking, they arrived at the market. The area was more lively than ever. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, creating a vibrant canopy above the bustling stalls. The air was filled with the hum of chatter, punctuated by the calls of traders advertising their wares. Stalls overflowed with ninja tools, kunai, shuriken, and specialized gear, glinting under the bright sun. People moved in a constant flow, examining goods, haggling over prices, and sharing news and gossip. Vendors sold a variety of items, from exotic spices and rare herbs to intricate jewelry and handcrafted trinkets. Street performers entertained passers-by with impressive displays of acrobatics and fire-breathing, adding to the festive atmosphere. The scent of grilled meats and sweet pastries wafted through the air, tempting everyone who walked by. Sakura was immediately blown away by all the pretty things at the market. She darted from stall to stall, her eyes wide with wonder as she admired colorful fabrics, sparkling accessories, and delicious treats. Her teammates could only sweat drop at her antics, each slightly exasperated by her enthusiasm. Kakashi-sensei, why is the market area so much livelier today? Sakura asked, finally pausing to catch her breath. Naruto stepped in to explain. The Chunin exams are about to be held in Konoha, so traders are coming here en masse. It's a big event, and everyone wants to be part of the action. Kakashi nodded in agreement. Exactly. The exams attract a lot of visitors, which is great for business. Kakashi then addressed the group. You can go and explore the market for an hour, but remember, meet back here within that time. With that, each of them walked off on their own, eager to see what the lively market had to offer. As Sakura walked along the market area, she couldn't help but admire all the pretty dresses and jewelry. She had completely skipped the shinobi area and instead focused on the daily life of the people. The silks, dresses, and accessories captivated her, and everything she saw made her imagine herself wearing them, with Sasuke by her side, of course. Her daydreaming was abruptly interrupted by the sight of another girl lost in similar fantasies. It was the blonde-haired heir of the Yamanaka clan, Ino, her childhood rival. Ino was also moving through the market, admiring the pretty dresses and other fineries. The moment they ran into each other, they immediately got into petty arguments. Ino pig, Sakura snapped, her eyes narrowing. Forehead girl, Ino shot back, crossing her arms. They stood there, glaring at each other, the market's lively atmosphere fading into the background as their rivalry took center stage. What's a billboard brow like you doing here? Shouldn't you be training? Ino taunted, her tone dripping with sarcasm. I could ask you the same thing, Ino pig. But I guess you're too busy pretending to be fashionable, Sakura retorted, flipping her hair. Oh please, Sakura. Everyone knows Sasuke prefers girls with class and style, unlike someone with a giant forehead, Ino sneered. As if Sasuke would never go for someone as shallow as you, Sakura retorted, her voice rising. They continued to taunt each other, each girl trying to outdo the other with claims of Sasuke's preference for them. The other marketgoers glanced at them, some amused by the familiar scene of the two rivals bickering. Sasuke moved along the shinobi section of the market, his hands in his pockets but his eyes scanning through the stalls with keen interest. He stopped from time to time to examine things that caught his attention, kunai, shuriken, and scrolls of different techniques. Traders in dark cloaks frequently approached him, trying to sell him various items, which only added to his growing irritation. Each trader's attempt to appeal to the Uchiha clan heir was a reminder of his clan, and all those reminders annoyed him. On his way, he noticed a small cabin crowded with people. Curiosity piqued. He approached and quickly realized it was a betting center where people were placing bets on who would win the upcoming Chunin exams. He looked at some of the names listed, most of which he had never heard of. Then he saw his own name, which took him aback since he had not even been officially named a participant yet. That decision was up to Kakashi-sensei. According to the board, the people thought he had a 54.65% chance of winning the tournament. He also saw Naruto's name with only a 0.08% chance of winning. The stark contrast in their odds brought a mixture of feelings. On one hand, he liked that the people still knew and feared the name of the Uchiha clan. On the other hand, however, it reminded him of just how little the people of the village knew Naruto and his power. He was interested in observing the lucrative nature of the betting business. Hundreds of people lined up, eager to place their bets on who they thought would win the tournament, but he didn't dwell on it for long. As he moved away from the betting center, the noise and bustle of the market continued around him, but Sasuke's thoughts were focused inward. The odds didn't bother him as much as the constant reminders of his clan and the expectations placed upon him. He continued walking, determined to prepare himself for the exams and prove his strength. Kakashi walked towards the books section of the market, already looking forward to seeing if the next part of his favorite book series had been printed. He moved through the market carefully, outwardly appearing careless but inwardly observing everything with meticulous attention. He noticed the eyes of foreign traders and shinobi on him, aware of his fame throughout the ninja world. Even though he knew he wouldn't be targeted here in the village, he understood that his every move was being studied. He looked through some more stalls before stopping in front of a small cabin, the aroma wafting from within irresistible. Entering, he took a seat, and a female waiter instantly approached him. He ordered some tea and miso soup with eggplant, then settled in, eagerly awaiting his meal. As he waited, he began speaking in a low, hushed voice, seemingly to no one. "Is there any information from the toad?" he asked quietly. A man standing right behind him, drinking tea, responded without turning. "Yes, there is. Orochimaru has been moving more frequently, and unrest is growing in the other nations. There's also word that Suna plans to send a Jinchuriki for the exams." Kakashi thought to himself for a while, pondering the implications. He considered that Suna sending a Jinchuriki was perfectly plausible, especially since he had heard their daimyo had cut their funding by half. They must be relying heavily on the prestige and potential prize money from the tournament. And what about him? Does he plan to return to the village? "I do not have information about that." The waiter brought him his food, and Kakashi ate in thoughtful silence. After finishing, he paid for his meal and left, his mind still on the information he had just received. The Chunin exams were going to be more complex and dangerous than he initially thought, and he needed to prepare his team accordingly. Naruto had decided to wander off towards the pirate area of the market. Everywhere he looked, he was surrounded by jewels, swords, maps, books, and people telling stories. There were also many old women who claimed to be truth-seers. He stopped by an old shop filled with maps and began to peruse them. His eyes were drawn to the eastern part of the continent, where he saw the islands of the Uzumaki clan, his clan. The maps also featured drawings of sea beasts and dragons along the coasts. "These tales of dragons are really popular, huh?" he thought to himself. The old man selling the maps looked at him with an amused expression. "Don't be scared, boy. The dragons can't fly here," he said. Naruto looked at him with a blank expression before asking, "So you're saying that dragons do exist?" Somewhat taken aback, the trader replied, "No, I don't." He smiled at Naruto and added, "You look like a rich kid." Naruto, amused, asked, "How do you know?" The old man explained, "I can smell the rich. I used to be a pirate, and I know where to plunder and where not to." "Is that so? What is your name, pirate?" "Okusu Tatsusaru," the old man told him. "Don't bother with him. He's a lowly pirate that once stole from people better than him. He's just trying to rip you off," another man said from another stall nearby. Naruto turned to look at him. He had gray hair and scar that ran down his right eye covered by an eye patch. Naruto smiled a little. "If you ask me, you look more like a pirate than him," Naruto said, and the old man Okusu laughed at his words. You're damn right he looks like that, he laughed. The other man didn't seem to take his words with that much enthusiasm, however. What's your name, boy? He asked. Naruto Uzumaki, he said proudly. Oh, Uzumaki, how well makes sense now, the man said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes at him. What do you want to say? I know you're kind. You Uzumakis were once a clan that ruled their own village, and I am from Kiri, the place that brought about their destruction. In fact, I still remember when my son brought me the news of your clan's demise 30 years ago. Best day of my life, he said with a smile on his face. Naruto felt his rage bursting inside of him but remained calm on the outside. Is that so? Yes, it is. I was a traitor, and you clan was always a pain in the ass during those times. They controlled the trade routes of the sea with that red fleet of theirs. So image my happiness when I heard of their slaughter from this world. The old man spoke as if recounting the very day. Naruto moved closer to his stall. What do you have to sell? The man smiled, a crooked yellow teeth smile. I have maps, swords, kunai, and all shinobi gear if you want. Here are the maps, the man said as he unfurled one of them, stretching it in front of Naruto. Yours doesn't have dragons? The trader laughed. Oh, please don't be a fool. Dragons don't exist, but here it is, the island of Whirlpool, he said as he pointed to it in the map. In that very moment, Naruto drew a kunai from his pouch, and with a speed the trader couldn't even see, he pressed the kunai down deep on his hand, splashing blood everywhere. The trader wanted to scream out but was stopped by Naruto's hand covering his mouth. Listen to me, old man, and listen well, Naruto spoke in a low and slow voice so that the trader could hear well. If I hear one more word about the Uzumaki clan, leave your mouth. You won't have a mouth to speak with again. Do I make myself clear? The man nodded his head frantically, the kunai still pressed against his hand. Well then, just in case, Naruto said as he removed the kunai from his hand, drawing back into his pouch. He drew his open hand now backwards. It glowed red for a second before he pressed it against the old man's head. Once again the old man wanted to scream at the top of his lungs, but Naruto's hand still covered his mouth. Naruto watched his eyes roll into the back of his head and fall unconscious. Okusu stared at him in shock. What did you do to him? He questioned with a bit of fright. I placed a seal over his head and removed all of his memories of this encounter. Tell him once he wakes up that he collapsed suddenly and fell into his kunais, slashing open his hand, Naruto told the old man casually. The old man nodded. Very well. Now again, how much for the map? Naruto asked. The old man was taken out of his thoughts at the question. Take it, it's on the house, he said as he pointed to the map. Naruto looked at him coldly. He took the map, folded it, and then took a small bag from his pouch and threw it at the old man. He looked inside and it was filled with gold. The old man bowed his head to him. Thank you, and we'll meet again, the old man said. I doubt it, Naruto said as he walked away. Naruto tucked the map away and continued to explore the market, his mind turning over the old man's words. Naruto continued to walk through the market area when he suddenly felt a pair of lavender eyes staring at him from the corner of a stall. He had an idea of who it could be but decided to make entirely sure. In a split second, he vanished and appeared right at the edge of the stall. It was a girl, more precisely his former classmate Hinata Hyuga, the heir of the Hyuga clan. Hinata was a very shy person around him and could never really complete a sentence in his presence. He hadn't had much interaction with her except for one event from when they were very young, an event he could barely remember. He saw that she was shaking in fright from his sudden appearance. Don't be afraid, he told her gently, but instead, Hinata fainted completely. Taken aback, Naruto wasn't quite sure what to do. He looked around, wondering how to handle the situation. Spotting a large tree a little further away, he decided it would be better for her to rest in the shade, believing the heat of the sun might have caused her to faint. He lifted her bridal style and began carrying her towards the tree. As he walked, it seemed like Hinata briefly woke up but then fainted again upon seeing him. When he arrived at the tree, he carefully laid her back against the trunk, ensuring she was comfortable and shaded from the sun. He took a step back, scratching his head, unsure of what to do next. He glanced around, hoping to see someone who could help, but the bustling market continued without noticing them. He sighed and decided to wait until she woke up, keeping an eye on her to make sure she was okay. After a few moments, Hinata began to stir. Her eyes fluttered open, and she looked up to see Naruto watching her with a concerned expression. She blushed deeply and tried to sit up. "Are you okay?" Naruto asked, his tone softer than usual. Hinata nodded, still blushing. "Why yes, thank you, Naruto-kun." He offered her a hand to help her stand up. "You should be more careful. The market can be pretty overwhelming." Hinata took his hand, her heart racing. "I will. Thank you again." Naruto gave her a small smile. "No problem. Take care of yourself." As he turned to leave, Hinata watched him go, her heart filled with a mixture of embarrassment and happiness. As Naruto turned to leave, Hinata suddenly called out to him. He stopped and turned around, looking at her. Her face was entirely red, and she seemed to force herself to speak. "Where are you going, Naruto-kun?" she asked, her voice trembling. Naruto hesitated for a moment but then answered, "I'm just exploring the market for the next hour." As impossible as it seemed, Hinata's face turned even redder. "See, can I tag along with you?" she suddenly asked, stuttering so much that Naruto struggled to understand her. He did, though, and smiled. "Sure, you can tag along. You're my former classmate, after all." Hinata blushed even more but felt a surge of happiness. They both walked towards the market, exploring the different stalls and shops. They wandered past vibrant displays of colorful fabrics, intricate jewelry, and a variety of ninja tools and weapons. Naruto, with Hinata by his side, pointed out interesting items and told her stories about his recent adventures. Hinata, initially shy and hesitant, gradually began to relax. As they continued walking and talking, her stuttering lessened, and she found herself able to speak more freely around him. They stopped at a stall selling delicious-looking dango, and Naruto decided to buy some for them to share. "Here, try this," he said, handing her a skewer of the sweet treats. Hinata took it with a smile. "Thank you, Naruto-kun." She took a bite, savoring the taste, and they both continued their exploration. They wandered through the bustling market, surrounded by traders calling out their wares, children laughing and playing, and shinobi discussing the upcoming Chunin exams. The vibrant banners and decorations added to the lively atmosphere. Hinata found herself enjoying the day more than she had anticipated. She was grateful for Naruto's company and his ability to make her feel at ease. As they walked past a stall selling beautiful hair ornaments, Naruto noticed Hinata admiring a delicate lavender one. "Do you like that?" he asked. Hinata blushed and nodded. "Yes, it's very pretty." Naruto smiled and bought it for her. "Here, it's for you." Hinata's eyes widened in surprise. "Thank you, Naruto-kun. I don't know what to say." "Just say you'll wear it and think of it as a good luck charm," Naruto said with a grin. Hinata nodded, feeling a warmth in her heart. "I will. Thank you." As they continued to explore the market together, their conversation flowed more naturally, and Hinata's confidence grew. By the time their hour was up, she was able to speak to Naruto without stuttering, and they both had enjoyed their time together. They returned to the meeting point with smiles on their faces. Hinata accompanied Naruto toward the place where his team was going to meet. As they approached the designated spot, it was clear that Naruto was the last to arrive. Kakashi greeted him with a smile, while Sakura immediately began teasing them about their relationship. Well, what do we have here? Naruto and Hinata, together," Sakura said with a playful smirk. Hinata blushed furiously, looking down at her feet, while Naruto remained stoic, not giving away any emotion. "Cut it out, Sakura," Naruto said, though without any real annoyance in his voice. Unbeknownst to them, 3 pairs of eyes were studying their every move from a distance. Perched atop the Hokage monuments, a trio watched Team 7 through binoculars. Their leader among them adjusted his binoculars and asked, "Is the blonde one really him?" A female voice responded, "Yes, that's definitely him. That is Kakashi Hatake, the copy ninja." Another male voice chimed in, "Well, his reputation is well known throughout all the lands of the shinobi world. We have to be careful around him." The leader sighed and said, "The old man brought us here for the exams. Let's make sure to win them and leave this place. I am already sick of it." Back on the ground, Team 7 was oblivious to the watchful eyes. Kakashi broke the momentary silence. "All right, everyone. I hope you had a good time exploring the market. Remember, the Chunin exams are coming up soon, so let's stay focused." Naruto nodded, his thoughts still lingering on the strange sense of being watched, even if he couldn't pinpoint why. Sakura continued to chat excitedly about all the interesting things she had seen, while Sasuke remained his usual stoic self, occasionally glancing at Naruto. As the team began to make their way back to the village, Hinata waved goodbye to Naruto, her heart pounding in her chest. Naruto gave her a nod and a small smile before turning back to his team. XXXXXXXX. Naruto stood before the Namake's mansion, letting the sight settle over him. The towering gates loomed above, silent sentinels of his family's legacy. After a moment, the massive double doors creaked open, welcoming him back. Stepping inside, he was greeted by the sight of his clones training in the yard with Yamato. Yamato noticed him and immediately approached, a small smile on his face. "Welcome back. I heard you had quite a victory today," he said. Naruto gave a brief nod, his expression serious. "Thanks, but there's no time to relax. I have to train harder if I'm going to be ready for the Chunin exams." His voice carried a weight of determination, hinting at the intense discipline he was preparing himself for. "Any news while I was gone?" Naruto asked, his tone direct. Yamato nodded, gesturing toward the house. "I already made a list for you. It's inside on the living room table." Naruto inclined his head in thanks. "Keep up the training with the clones." He moved forward without waiting for a reply, stepping inside the house. As he walked into the living room, he saw Haku sitting quietly, a cup of tea in her hands. Though he showed no reaction, the sight caught him off guard. She seemed perfectly at home. "You've made yourself comfortable, I see," he said flatly, watching as her cheeks flushed in embarrassment. She quickly got up from the chair, but he waved her back down. "Sit." She obeyed, though she fidgeted slightly under his gaze. Raising an eyebrow, he observed her with mild curiosity. "You seem more obedient. Why?" Haku's mouth opened, but no words came out at first. She struggled for a moment, looking down at the tea before finally speaking. I apologize for taking this long to give you an answer. I am eternally grateful to you, Naruto, for giving me a new life." Her voice softened as she spoke, each word carrying a note of sincerity. Then, to Naruto's surprise, she bowed her head and spoke with quiet intensity. "Please, allow me to join your Order of the Seven." He felt his eyes widen slightly. "You know about that?" A faint smile appeared on her face as she looked up. "I've been reading about the history of the Namake's clan. I wanted to understand everything." Naruto's lips curved slightly, an unspoken respect settling over his expression. "Well then," Naruto said, his tone calm but resolute, "I accept your plea, Haku. From now on, you will be one of my Order of the Seven." Haku's face lit up with both relief and quiet pride as she bowed her head in gratitude. "Thank you, Naruto-sama." Naruto's expression softened ever so slightly. "But for now, go make me a cup of tea. I'm thirsty too." She nodded obediently, bowing once more before leaving the room to prepare his tea. As she disappeared down the hallway, Naruto shifted his attention to the scroll on the table. He picked it up, carefully unrolling it and letting his eyes scan the extensive list that Yamato had compiled. The scroll was packed with information, titles and reports sprawled across it in organized rows, each containing Yamato's meticulous notes on recent events and gathered intelligence. There were hundreds of entries, articles about missing Nin sightings, reports of rebellions, and detailed summaries of events taking place across all 5 great nations. But Naruto quickly moved to the section on Konoha, specifically focusing on the Chunin exams. His eyes narrowed as he scanned through the participants' names. Chapter 6. About 5 months had passed since Naruto and Sasuke's last spar. Now Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were waiting on the bridge where they usually met. Sasuke was stoic as usual, his hands in his pockets. Sakura was looking at him with heart-filled eyes, while Naruto stood at the edge of the bridge, looking down at the water below. Suddenly, their sensei Kakashi appeared in a puff of smoke. Sakura noticed immediately and started screeching, "You're late again, Kakashi-sensei." Kakashi waved her off lazily. "Sorry, I got lost on the path of life." Naruto, without turning around, calmly asked, "What's the occasion for calling us here?" Kakashi gave them an eye smile. "I've nominated you all for the upcoming Chunin exam." Both Naruto and Sasuke were clearly excited and gave small smiles, while Sakura looked uncertain about the exam. Kakashi handed them their nomination cards. "The exam is in 5 days. Be ready." Sasuke then asked Kakashi, "Sensei, will you give us some tips on our training, or are we already ready?" Kakashi nodded. "Thanks for reminding me, Sasuke." He handed each of them a scroll. "These scrolls are specifically designed for each of you to help improve in this last week before the exams." He then got more serious. "Be careful during the exams. You are still beginners and should tread with caution." Naruto and Sasuke nodded while Sakura looked understandably frightened. As a last reassurance, Kakashi gave them an eye smile. "I'm proud of you all." And with that, he vanished in a puff of smoke. Sakura looked at the scroll in her hand and then packed it into her pouch. She glanced at Sasuke and went to ask him for lunch, but Sasuke completely ignored her, his eyes fixated on his scroll. Naruto prepared to walk away, but to Sakura's shock, Sasuke called out to him, "Hey Naruto, let's train together this week." Naruto stopped and turned back to look at him with an unreadable expression. Then he nodded. Sasuke followed after him, and Sakura watched them both walk away, leaving her dumbfounded. XXXXXXXX. Both Sasuke and Naruto walked throughout the village calmly, neither of them saying anything to one another. Suddenly 3 kids ran past them. Naruto looked at them and was able to see that it was the grandson of the Hokage that had just passed them alongside his team. They screamed at one another, "Catch me if you can," while running as fast as they could. They were children after all. Konohamaru was the one at the head of the group running, until he suddenly bumped into someone and fell down to the ground in pain. "Tch, annoying brat, you'll pay for that." The man Konohamaru bumped into said as he grabbed him by the collar of his t-shirt. "I am allergic to shrimp. Do you know that? I might just kill you for this," he said. "I wouldn't do that if I were you," Naruto said, deciding to chime in. "Oh yeah, and why's that?" the boy asked. "The one you are holding in your hand is the grandson of the 3rd Hokage, and seeing that you are not from this village, such an incident could cause some conflict between our villages. But by any means continue," Naruto said, and saw the boy go pale in the face at the idea. I was just joking, of course. I didn't mean to harm him," the boy said as he put Konohamaru down on the ground. Konohamaru didn't wait for a second more and he flew off running with his friends. "Either way, who are you guys and why are you here?" Sasuke asked, wanting to know their motives. "My name is Sabaku Kankuro." The young man dressed in black clothes introduced himself. "My name is Sabaku Tamari." The girl beside him introduced herself as well. "So you're siblings. So tell, what are you doing here in the village? From your headbands, I take it you are shinobi of Suna." "Yes, we are from Suna. We are here in Konoha to take part in the upcoming Chunin exams." Tamari was the one that explained. "I see. And I take it the one up there in the tree is also with you guys?" Naruto asked as he looked toward the tree. All of their heads turned to look at the tree Naruto was looking at and were shocked. Sasuke was shocked at how he had not even sensed the guy in the tree, while Temari and Kankuro were shocked to see their younger brother hanging upside down from the tree looking at all of them. Without a word, he materialized in front of them by the sand. "You saw me moved before any of them? What is your name?" he asked. "We here in Konoha tend to give our name first when asking a person for theirs," Naruto told him. "Sabaku Gara. Naruto Uzumaki. I'll remember it. Kankuro, Temari, let's go," he said as he walked away while his other two siblings followed behind him. Sasuke's eyes flickered with rage at being ignored. His eyes unknowingly turned to a Sharingan. As he watched the siblings walk away, Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder. "Let's go and train for now, Sasuke. We will run into them eventually." Sasuke nodded. "Yeah, you're right." They began moving once again. Oblivious to them, however, up in the trees nearby, a group of 3 watched their entire exchange with the Suna Genin. "What do you think?" "The 2 Konoha Genin and the spook from Suna are the ones that matter. The other 2 are of no importance," said a boy covered all in bandages. "Right?" Another boy next to him chuckled. XXXXXXXX. Naruto and Sasuke continued walking towards their destination quietly. They had decided to take a shortcut through an alley Naruto was familiar with, and they were within sight of the Namake's mansion. Suddenly they stopped and their senses heightened. They quickly spun around and were greeted with the sight of a massive water dragon jutsu roaring against them. Sasuke jumped away to avoid it. Naruto, on the other hand, pulled his right hand back, and on it a blade, dark gray in color, almost appearing black and featuring a rippled pattern, appeared on his hand. With a single vertical slash he tore right through the jutsu. His eyes scanned the area and he instantly found them. 3 people on top of a nearby rooftop, all seated down, looking at them with wide smirk on their faces. Naruto didn't hesitate. In an instant he vanished, aiming straight for the kid in the middle. He had long, spiky black hair streaked with dark blue and ocean deep blue eyes. Naruto attempted to slash at him with his sword, but his attack was stopped by 2 swords of the other 2 kids. 1 male and 1 female, they each seemed to be around the same age. Naruto jumped backward, gaining some distance. Sasuke quickly joined him by his side. The boy in the center stood up slowly, clapping his hands mockingly. Well, that wasn't bad," he said, voice low and smooth. "You really are quick." Then his eyes shifted to Sasuke. "And you, Uchiha." He tilted his head, the grin spreading wider. "Konoha's precious Sharingan, a bloodline so feared. It's practically a bedtime story. So, show me your eyes, Sasuke Uchiha, and I'll show you what real power looks like." Sasuke's eyes narrowed. "Who the hell are you?" "Oh, forgive our manners, did we not introduce ourselves?" "Well, my name is Ryosuke Mikiri," the boy said, and to Sasuke's and Naruto's shock his eyes began to transform. Instead of the deep ocean blue eyes, they took on a yellow color with a black sun-like pattern. "A dojutsu?" Sasuke muttered. "Pretty, isn't it?" the boy chuckled. "I can't make direct eye contact with him," Naruto thought to himself, trying to avoid looking directly in his eyes. "TCH, I told you guys to not go anywhere without us, didn't I?" A voice called out to them, and everyone turned around to see it. "Izumo, Kotetsu, do you know these guys?" Naruto said as he eyed the newcomers. "Yeah, sorry about this. These guys are here to fight in the Chunin exams. The Hokage assigned us to look over them since they don't have a sensei, but they ran off with our leave," Kotetsu said, and looked less than pleased at the genin. The genin, on the other hand, seemed to completely disregard his words. "We were just exploring the village when we ran into these guys. Nothing major happened," the boy in the middle shrugged. "Don't push your luck, young man. Now come with us, we'll escort you back to the hotel you're supposed to stay at," Izumo told them. "We shall meet again, Sasuke and Naruto," the boy told them before he began moving. "We didn't get the names of your teammates," Naruto spoke. "Haruto Mikiri," the other boy introduced himself. "Okamura Mikiri," the girl told him, while also giving him a seductive wink in the process. "Mikiri, huh?" Triple XXXXXXX. After quite a bit of walking, both Naruto and Sasuke arrived at their destination. As they reached their intended destination, Sasuke saw two massive double doors and was shocked. "Why are we at the Namikaze mansion?" Sasuke asked, staring in disbelief. Naruto looked at him. "I live here." Sasuke remained stunned for a moment before following Naruto inside. The doors opened to reveal a massive yard where he saw dozens of Naruto clones already training with different swords and techniques. Sasuke, still in awe, asked, "Why do you have so many clones already training?" Naruto answered, "All the clones' memories get transferred back to me, so any technique my shadow clones learn, I learn as well." Sasuke instantly understood that this was Naruto's secret to his rapid improvement over the past few months. He immediately wanted to create some shadow clones himself, but before he could do anything, Naruto warned, "Don't even think about it. This training method isn't for you. It's something only I can do. Because of my unreal amounts of chakra, the average shinobi can only make about 3 to 4 clones, no more. If you try to make more, you could die of exhaustion." Sasuke thought about it and realized Naruto was right. Naruto then spoke again. "First, how about we drink some tea? I'm very thirsty." He walked over to sit under the shade of a tree in the yard. Sasuke followed him, still processing everything he had just learned. As they sat down, to Sasuke's shock, a girl brought them their cups, and it wasn't just any girl he instantly recognized. It was the girl that defeated him in the Land of Waves. She didn't seem to recognize him, however, or simply ignored him and handed him a cup. Sasuke examined the cup, and Naruto sighed, saying, "It's called matcha. It's very good for your health. Go and call Yamato. I have something important to ask him." Naruto told the girl, and she did as she was told, going off to call Yamato. "That's the girl that I fought in the Land of Waves, isn't it?" he asked Naruto. "Yes, you are correct. That is her." "And what's she doing here?" "Isn't that obvious? She brought us tea." Naruto shrugged. "You know what I mean, Naruto," he said with a mild irritation. "She lives with me, Sasuke. She is under the protection of my clan from now on," Naruto said, deciding to explain. "I see. Who's Yamato?" Sasuke asked. "He is my bodyguard and instructor." "Bodyguard and instructor?" Sasuke asked skeptically. "Yes, that's exactly right," Naruto said, not explaining further. "I was under the impression that you lived alone?" "I used to, but not anymore. I have begun making allies." He said, his eyes distant. "Why?" Naruto turned to look at him. "Why? I have already told you, Sasuke. I have a dream to restore my clan to its rightful place. I can't restore my clan by myself, can I?" He said, his tone laced with anger. Sasuke didn't know what to say. "Yeah, you're right," he admitted. It didn't take long for Yamato to appear. At the yard, he found Naruto and Sasuke still sat down drinking tea. "Naruto, you called for me?" he asked, giving a small bow. "Yes, Yamato, I called for you. That list you provided me, the one with the participants of the Chunin exams, was wrong. It didn't mention anything about Genin from Kiri arriving here," he told him.
Kiri.
"I didn't see any reports about Genin from Kiri," Yamato told him with a bit of disbelief in his voice. "Well, then you must have seen wrong, because just now I was attacked by 3 Genin from the Makiri clan in the village. Izumo and Kotestu admitted that they are here for the Chunin exams." "That can't be true. Kiri can't send their team here in Konoha. They are not part of an alliance with Konoha, and they can't especially send Genin from the Makiri clan," Yamato said, not being able to believe his own voice. "And why is that? Why can't they send Genin from the Makiri clan?" Sasuke asked, a bit confused at his words. "Because the Makiri clan is in open rebellion against the village of Kiri," Naruto told him. He bit his thumb in thought. Why would the old man agree to allow them to compete in the tournament? He thought out loud. Maybe the Hokage wishes to show the strength of Konoha by openly supporting a rebel clan of Kiri? Sasuke answered. "I doubt it. The old man is shrewd, yes, but this doesn't seem like his work to me. He is a man of peace. He is not called the professor for nothing, Naruto said. Danzo? Was all Yamato had to say. Most likely, but what does he hope to gain from this? Naruto wondered. I want you to go ahead and investigate this, Yamato. Find out anything you can about Danzo's involvement in this. He told him. Yamato gave a bow and then left,